Et tu, Crossland?
What is going on, everybody? It is episode 200 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am ecstatic to be here with you on episode 200. It's going to be a day to remember.
It absolutely is. I had to double check to make sure I actually turned the stream on. I'm like, I hit the button. I'm like, hello. So
hopefully no power outages, technical difficulties, cameras dying, paranormal experiences today. We're going to just have fun and relax on this casual Friday.
That is what we are going to do, especially ghosts. I want no ghosts and no power outages. And
yeah,
to help
Shane.
And to help us ensure that, we have our main guest here today. Would you introduce yourself, sir?
I'm the ghost. I've come through. I'm Ian Crossland, first of all, but yes, I'm looking forward to some paranormal activities. Before the show, well, maybe we can introduce Dane before we get too deep into this, but we're talking about pancakes, French toast, or waffles. What do you like the best of those three? How would you rank those three? I put pancakes at number 3. I just haven't decided on the other
Pancakes is obviously number 3. I disagree with Dane on this. He always puts them at number 2.
Dane?
Wild.
I'm supposed to intro myself
Yes,
after that?
and tell people your thoughts.
Build it up.
Incredible. Well, hey guys, Dane Font here, marketing man extraordinaire, and the patron saint of White Boy Summer.
And you're getting shot with money.
Correct. And the only answer, dear Crossland, is French toast is obviously the best. Ooh. Nice little.
That's called a Freudian slip.
Yeah,
nice little Freudian
you're
slip
an
there.
animal.
French toast, pancakes, all their breakfast foods, and then waffles.
French toast is has eggs in it, so it's almost like you also get your protein.
You're getting
All
a
of
twofer.
them have eggs in it.
I've never had pancakes. I don't make pancakes with eggs. Do you do that?
Yeah.
How about before we do this,
This is freaking awesome.
We're getting into the show, guys. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We are going to talk about Jennifer Lawrence, which is it's the other gift that keeps on giving. Is everything okay, guys?
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right. That's like people were double taking. I had no idea what was going on. Dane, are you all right?
Well, apparently, we are a minute into the show. We have a $99 super chat and a $199 super chat.
It's because they want me to dye my
Whoa.
hair blonde. That's what they want.
Thank you, guys.
You're gonna do it.
Oh, I don't know about this.
1,500 bones, and then you're dyeing it. huh?
I was really hoping that my hair would allow it to be longer before I had to dye it blonde
cool.
and embarrass myself. I had blonde tips when I was young once, so I don't.
It's happening today.
I don't
Today is the day. 15 crisis parties. 200th episode. Brett is going to bleach his hair right after this. I am going to do it myself.
What right after this? That I was not aware of. So if we do that,
That was in the contract in the fine print.
that we will have to. Soon we have to make sure that we have bleach that doesn't destroy my hair because I'm.
Yes,
going to
said, remember to use conditioner, Brett.
Ugh. Duh.
Get footage,
Sinister.
please.
Before we get into me ruining my hair for the enjoyment of all who watch, we are going to talk about Jennifer Lawrence and the quibbling of the gender pay gap amongst millionaires. And then after that, we are going to talk about Johnny Depp's star lawyer, Camille Vasquez, and her upcoming case with an actress from the show Yellowstone named Koranka Kilcher.
Thank
you, guys.
Shoots the money.
It's well, here we go. We're
There it
back.
is.
We're back. Pull it back. Pull it back to me. Pull it back to me, guys. After that, we are going to talk about an article from the director of Birdman, who had a unique comment about 4 years ago talking about the concept of superhero and cultural genocide, which is absolutely fascinating. And then we are going to get into Podluck. Me and Mary are going to give a decent breakdown for what our thoughts were for episode 3 of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and then we're going to finish on some stories about the Queen leading into a specific womp womp womp. So if you guys are ready, I almost said if you ladies or you gentlemen are just ready, but it's you guys in the all encompassing
with a
sense.
Z.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
That's gender neutral.
Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ian, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Dane,
I'm getting there.
let's go. Okay, so it says Jennifer Lawrence complains about $25 million Don't Look Up Payday because Leonardo DiCaprio made more. Do you guys remember the concept of first world problems?
Oh yeah.
I think that was the great uniter in society. I was talking about it last night. I said, look, we weren't quibbling about, what you looked like, what your reproductive organs were. It's just you were lucky enough to be born in the United States, and that was or in the West, and that was great. But this is even more.
However,
this is 1% world problem.
yesterday we were also talking about, in the context of Cara Delevingne's strange appearance at an airport in LA, the fact that you can still have real problems even though you're rich.
Absolutely.
That's true.
That is not
at the
this.
same time, don't complain about getting $5 million less than Leonardo DiCaprio. You could have gotten way less than that, and it still would have been considered fair.
So I do want to point out, first of all, because this joke has to be made, that what it is that Leo, she made $25 million. And the thing is, I think Leo just saw the number 25 and was like, no, I'm not. I don't do 25.
But bumping
no.
it up to 30,
That
it would
was
have made more sense to bump it down to 20 mil.
I like the idea that he's so superstitious about anything close to 25 that he will actually take less money so that he can stay away from it.
How many girls has he dumped that turned 25?
A lot. It's there. We did an episode.
I mean,
recently.
at least it's in the double digits.
I'm
It's
sure
getting
this
up
is a
to
quick
25 women, which was making him sweat even more.
I see what he's doing.
There's a funny thing where somebody developed this really intense infographic that like showed like all of them, their age, his age, and then like how far he strays from the age of 25 or the age he was when he made Titanic. It's actually really funny. The internet wins in that respect. I may have my strong opinions on whether the internet was a good idea, but I do think that it has its moments. So it says Hunger Games actress Jennifer Lawrence has returned from her brief absence from public life in order to complain about the Hollywood wage gap. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we just adopt the term Hollywood wage gap instead of gender wage gap.
Sorry, guys. Quick fact checked. This is a new show after all. Apparently 8 chicks.
8?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, only
8.
8. Okay.
A modest 8.
Were they all like 26 when he cut them loose?
So apparently one at 23, another one at like 25.
The recent one made it
22.
until she was 26, so
he must
she
have
must
really
have
loved
been
that
really
one.
great.
Was he ever married? Like had an older
Nope, never.
Leo.
Well,
He plans on being a playboy his entire life.
Well, even Clooney settled down
Yeah.
eventually. Like Leo can only spend so many days on so many yachts. Like
Clooney's marriage could end up lasting even a couple of decades.
How old is Clooney now? He's got to be in his 50s.
59 or something.
One of the funniest things about like Clooney and Pitt, and I always point this out, is like they're like still the bedrock of like what we consider like handsome men. Like whenever there's a joke in a show, they make a joke like, "Oh, this guy thinks he's Brad Pitt. This guy thinks he's George Clooney." I'm like, those are like 3 decades old references you're still using.
Like Einstein. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, nice job, Einstein.
that's-
They used to do that to me in the 80s.
Yeah,
in the 90s.
that happened to you.
Yeah.
Is the
It was, like,
implication that
sarcastic.
handsome, smart men haven't been born since?
I mean, I don't know if it's that or if we're just lazy, or nobody's reached that level of public.
There's a similar question about whether male movie stars are going to come receive the torch from someone like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, can Tom Holland do it? Can Timothée Chalamet do it?
Also, when they try to actually make it a passing of the torch, it never actually works.
No.
Like in pro wrestling, this is a thing where like you're like a very big name will lose to a newer face, and that's supposed to be the idea of like passing the torch to that newer name. But it always feels so
Yeah.
manufactured and forced that it doesn't.
Like when I
actually
see
come
Noah
through.
Centineo in the trailer for Black Adam, and this is supposed to be one of the rising stars, or Austin Butler and Elvis, I'm just not convinced.
No.
I thought Jonah Hill in Moneyball was a nice passing of the torch, but it wasn't like a beauty thing. 'Cause
No.
Jonah's just such a good actor. That's kind of why he got the role.
He also was smart enough to get out of doing public appearances now. He's not doing any type of public
Oh
appearance.
yeah, I heard he was quote citing mental health.
Yeah,
taking a break.
for mental health concerns.
I support it.
So it says Lawrence has been quiet the last couple of years, but her most recent film credit being the Adam McKay written and directed 2021 Netflix film. So they're talking about Don't Look Up, and she was also in Dark Phoenix, where she made so much money she didn't even have to be blue to play Mystique. That's how much they're like. How can we not put her in blue makeup? Because Jennifer Lawrence probably doesn't want to wear blue makeup now that she's a household name. So it says,
Who cares what she wants?
So that was I don't know. Did you guys watch Don't Look Up?
I did not.
I did not.
Tim liked it. I did not like it. It was on the nose. For satire, I wasn't a fan. This could be the subjective nature of the fact that I was just not in the best mood when I watched the movie.
But if you hadn't known that the movie was satirizing climate change denial, would you have liked it better?
Maybe that speaks to the idea that these people should just shut up when they market their stuff and not make it so
That
divisive.
seems to be a recurring theme.
Yep. So
Yeah.
so they basically talk about how the movie's absolutely a lecture on climate change. Say what you will, but she earned $25 million for the film compared to DiCaprio's 30, even implying that her genitalia was the reason she was paid less.
She said, "It doesn't matter how much I do, I'm still not going to get paid as much as that guy because of my vagina?"
Well, that is
Question mark?
That's
from this same Vogue interview where she just chooses to talk about every political issue in the book unprompted.
Did it feel like she kind of like recently went off the deep end?
Yes.
Like it felt like she was like what's the term they use? Trauma dumping.
I think a lot of these celebrities really went off the deep end when they were isolated because of COVID.
Yeah, a lot of people in general, I think, did.
People in general, but like celebrities in particular, because they don't have friends or family that they are in close contact with. Yeah. She even was talking about how she only communicates with her family over text message, and it's mainly to inundate them with articles that scaremonger about abortion rights, and then she said she feels bad and then sends them a picture of her baby. I work very hard to not do that, to not I type stuff out and then don't send it. Like I wait, and then if I feel really strongly about it, and rarely do I ever feel strongly enough about it to actually end up posting, but just the act of typing it out, like they say, if you feel negatively about somebody, write a letter and then wait 10 days to she just seems
to send it.
Detached from reality and real relationships and what actually matters to people. It's so anachronistic to even talk about the wage gap in the year 2022.
I just think it's the move, because when you give like a response like that's so political, you get covered by both sides, because her side covers is like, wow, aren't you just the greatest thing ever? And the other side just covers it from the argument of like, isn't she the worst?
Allow me to say I'm sorry for being part of the problem by covering this today.
Well, here's why she is kind of the worst. It's not that the headline is twisting her words or the press is asking her leading questions to coax a political response out of her. She kind of hijacked this entire interview just to preach about her pet issues. She is kind of the worst.
Was this the same interview where she was saying she had nightmares about Tucker Carlson?
Yes. Yeah, like totally unhinged.
I enjoyed Tim's description of Tucker on a horse saving her from danger last night.
Yeah. What kind of reaction did she think she would get to saying something like that? If she thought it was anything but mockery, she's off the deep end.
It says, however, confronted with the fact that DiCaprio made more than her, Lawrence actually admitted, look, Leo brings in more box office than I do, before adding that she was extremely fortunate and happy with the deal. It's very all over the place. It's also interesting that they talked about like who gets top call, like top billing. That's a very big thing in Hollywood. That's negotiated right down to the agents whose name appears when and for how long it appears on screen. Mm-hmm. If you notice, like they mentioned like Laverne and Shirley, meaning like co-top billing, but like on the show Bones, Emily Deschanel and David Boreanaz shared equal amounts of, whereas everybody else had their own name individually. Since they didn't want to put one before the other, they put them on screen at the same time, and every other person's name was shown individually.
They were the two stars?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's, yes. So because they were number two, they were the two top stars, they didn't want to acquiesce to putting one name before the other, since they felt that they shared equal billing. So she ended up having the name on the same title card scene as his at the same time. Everybody else came after. So that's a big thing to celebrities. Like it negotiates your ability to for further contracts, or when you think about when they get an Emmy nomination or they win an Emmy, that becomes something that the production company, when they're making a trailer, can put featuring Emmy nominee, Emmy award winner, this person, Grammy.
I always like how they hold one till the end. And special guest, that's the old guy that's been around for 40 years.
No, that's actually, that is considered the second most important credit. Is the last and the first.
Yeah, the last one I was like.
Are the most. It's like also featuring or with. Yeah, that's a big one. That's interesting because it is usually like the older guy who's no longer.
Wilfred Brimley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's no longer allowed to be the star because he's too old, but his name carries weight and gravitas, so they give him second to the last credit.
Jennifer Lawrence has had an obvious change of tune about this, and I have to suspect that a possible reason for that is she has people on her team whispering in her ear, or maybe friends telling her, you deserve better, queen. And it can just kind of color her perception of what happened after the fact.
Do you think they actually call her queen? They're like, yes, queen.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
You can girl boss so much harder than Leo. Well, it's because he's not a girl. And they're like, well, he can't girl boss, so you have to girl boss twice as much for him.
You and I were disagreeing about this, but I think Leo, at least from like our generation, is one of the greatest actors that we have. And so I just don't know how that doesn't hold any weight for her, especially like she's in the industry and she knows that pretty much every single movie he pulls out is a banger. And if both of them are in a movie, I don't know, it's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Yeah, in my opinion.
No, you're not wrong about that. He absolutely is. He's worked very hard to do that. I'm not like The Departed. I love, but in general, Wolf of Wall Street was good, I guess. But he's not somebody
not Memento. What's it called? Like Bob, the one that had that sound effect.
He's not the one that
I mean all action movies.
Nah, dude. But there's a movie that's specifically
Revenant.
It's an idea within an idea.
Oh yeah, Inception.
Inception.
Yeah,
I fell asleep during that.
Are you crazy? That movie's great.
It was so tired though too, and I was watching it from a distance across the room on a smaller TV.
Well, that'll do it.
I've only ever fallen asleep in a movie theater once. A movie called The Adjustment Bureau.
Were you tired or were you just bored?
I was really tired.
Inception was like quiet and a lot of droning noise that kind of lulled me into a sense of sleep, I think.
So what do you think? What should she do?
Well, she should accept that Leo's the most famous actor on earth for sure.
What I'm saying.
What she needs to know is it's a terrible look in the first place to even complain about this.
Well, because any type of pay dispute in public is a weird thing to like flex on.
Why are you bringing it to the media?
Also, she should have a publicist that's like, maybe you don't mention the 25 million part. Maybe you just say Leo made more than you, so you don't sound completely detached from reality.
That's a good point.
Right.
And again, I don't think that having money means you're devoid of problems. That's not the way the world works. Your life adapts to what your circumstances are, right? People who are in that situation.
She's obviously got a lot of problems.
I'm not saying she doesn't have problems.
Missing $5 million from her bank account is not one of that.
There's such a thing as messaging, and they have to worry about that for everything. There was an article I was looking at earlier that was basically showing that Angelina Jolie was the one that leaked the pictures of her and was it
Brad Pitt when he was still married to Aniston,
which proves that it's all image and they're very calculated in how they approach every aspect of their life, not just their on-screen life, but their personal lives as well. And there's no reason to think that it's not even with social media and the amount of non-corporate media that we're putting out, meaning your own interpretation of the world through your social media platforms, that's just as rife for being manipulated and used in a certain way to project a certain image than it would be by leaking to a paparazzi.
Well, Jennifer Lawrence airing her dirty laundry about a pay dispute that's in the tens of millions of dollars range shows that she's not really consciously trying to preserve her image, which has ordinarily been that she's one of the down-to-earth celebrities that's relatable and funny.
Yep. We should do a vlog segment where we have a pay dispute segment.
Oh, it's a great idea. Yeah, this is something you would talk about with your therapist for sure, but not...
Or your manager.
And there's been this, in the last 20 years, this conflation that like social media is therapy, and in a way it is therapeutic to hear back from people. It's instant feedback. You can kind of air it out. You can see yourself saying the things on video if you make a video about it, but it's not the same as like confession where it's you and a priest, you and someone alone in a room where you can get it out and the world doesn't see it happening.
The press is a sort of confessional for celebrities these days. They feel they can just lay everything out there with no discretion.
I think the worst one was Madonna. Like, she was really out there when she was in that bathtub with milk, was it?
She just had another one recently where she's like, she was filming a music video on her own in her home, and the cops got called. I'm like, she feels like more calculated Britney Spears.
She's not as crazy. No. I think she knows what she's doing.
It says that she also complained about only receiving 7% of the profits from American Hustle as opposed to the 9% that Christian Bale Bradley Cooper and Jeremy Renner took home. Again, you could argue Jeremy Renner isn't as big of a star as her, but Christian Bale and Bradley Cooper are both extremely powerful men within that industry.
Maybe she needs a new agent.
That's the number one thing I say all the time. Whenever people complain about their pay scale in Hollywood, I'm like, sounds like you're not negotiating what you think you're worth. And when celebrities do walk away and say, look, Neve Campbell walked away from doing Scream 6. She's like, they're not looking to pay me what I'm worth. I'm the face of this franchise. I have been since 1995. I was like, but then she made it about her gender. And I said, no, walk away, be a professional. You think you're worth more. Walk away, and all you're doing is making it worse for yourself.
Well, in a way, it is because of her gender, because her ability to negotiate and be ruthless in the business sense is naturally lower than a man's.
Well, there's a tendency. It doesn't mean just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you're more. I think it's conscientious or less confrontational or whatever. As Jordan Peterson talks a lot about.
Disagreeability.
Yeah, disagreeability.
We agree here that
men tend to be more disagreeable.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that, like, sometimes women are more disagreeable. It's just there's a tendency that men will. So, that there's a natural tendency.
Unless you're an exception, that's
Mary
one of the
is
pitfalls. And then
exception.
you have to make sure that you at least employ people who are going to do that work for you. If you know that you're not naturally good at negotiating, have an agent do it for you who is.
Have Mary do it for you.
Well, I didn't see Don't Look Up, but did Leo have more screen time than Jen?
He's on screen pretty good. They're both main characters in that movie.
So it's like equal?
Yeah.
What about seniority? In regular industry, seniority, if you've worked longer, you make more money typically.
But they're going to say that's unfair to point out because women don't get the same opportunity to gain seniority if they're casted less once they're older.
I mean,
right?
Listen, no one talk about Meryl Streep that gets casted every time they need a kooky lady for anything.
A kooky lady. She does play kooky roles, doesn't she?
I think she's in that movie. If I remember, I don't remember if it's her or Susan Sarandon that plays the female president.
There's this movie that Meryl Streep was in called Doubt about this. Have you watched it?
I try to avoid anything Meryl Streep, as you know.
It's she plays this nun that is accusing a priest of being a child predator, but she has absolutely no evidence, and the whole thing is like, I have such doubts. Like, the whole thing is they mention the title of the movie so many times that it's like comical.
In
but she is like the ultimate kooky lady in that movie. So you're right.
Meryl Streep gets paid to be Meryl Streep, and Johnny Depp gets paid to be Johnny Depp. That's why they both annoy me to no end.
I'm just saying, I would say it's fair to point out that actresses can't get that so-called tenure that as often as actors can.
Because when they get old, it's like, peace.
Yeah,
the roles
they don't. Yeah, they're not needed as much.
That's disturbing.
They have a rotating.
It comes to the stories that Hollywood chooses to tell, meaning that the men age into their roles in a lot of the bigger productions, because if it's stories about heroes, if it's stories about high-powered lawyers, if it's stories about judges, all of these things are usually male actors and they're older, whereas women tend to play younger characters, partially because beauty is a big part of that, but also because the sad fact is that those are the stories that they know how to tell, and they don't know how to get away from that.
Is there like a genetic predisposition to hiding the women in general? Like in tribal life, if there was a crowd getting outside that was getting rowdy and the husband and the wife are like, we got to do something about this, it probably wouldn't be the wife that would walk out there and be like, you guys shut up, go home.
In
the
movies
wife would
now,
stay invisible so that she doesn't get attacked. Yeah.
And in the movies now, it would be the guy, or it'd be the woman.
Well, like in Prey,
yeah,
that's an exception too. But then she was playing a 15-year-old.
Yes.
Would they make a movie like that about an older woman? I don't know.
There's been a couple of, like, the 355 was older female action spies. They had Peppermint with Jennifer Garner, where she it's kind of like the
I like Jennifer Garner.
The concept behind the Taken films with Liam Neeson, but it's reversed and it's a woman doing it rather than the guy. It wasn't as bad as it sounds. As somebody who rails against those types of movies, it was actually fairly okay. So that does happen, but whenever I see that stuff, I feel like it never resonates because it's so, like, that that's not the way it would be in the real world, and that sticks in your brain, and you may not, like, if you're not initiated to the way things are in Hollywood, you don't know why it bothers you, but you know that it's not right or that it's not
Not even that it bothers you, but that it bores you.
Yeah. Or that it just something about this scene feels off. You don't know why, but you know that it does.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's funny that there's not more shows about older ladies being bros. Because, you know, the Golden Girls.
That show was hot.
The Golden Girls is such an iconic show, right?
It was so good.
Well, there's like Frankie and Gracie.
I miss Golden Girls.
Yeah, I used to watch that a lot.
I think there's some shows like that now.
I mean,
like
just
Netflix.
4 stellar actors too. That's
Are
what
they
made Golden
hits?
Girls so good.
The same way?
Hits is that's
No.
up in the air, but you know that might also be like because like you might actually have an easier time making that work on network TV now, where old people are watching it as opposed to like streaming where they're like, how do I figure out this remote? Like they don't know what they're doing. So
now it's Stranger Things and Cobra Kai. That's about kids.
Can't wait to watch Cobra Kai this weekend. New season.
Is there a new season?
Yeah.
Yes.
Season 5 came out like yesterday.
I'm like 2 seasons behind.
Yeah,
The show rules.
catch
Me
up.
too.
Before we leave this show, did they ever say, "Hey guys, don't look up"? Don't look up. Did they say that in the movie?
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
One of my favorite Twitter accounts is basically that. It just chooses scenes from video games, and it says like, oh, I guess this is a Final Fantasy X, and it's just incredible. Where they just like interlace the title with any scene possible. It does it with video games, and it does it with movie titles.
What is it?
I'll look it up later. I don't remember the name.
The crowd wants to know.
It's the Super Chats.
Okay. Darth Doza said, let's get this party started. You did get the party started, so thank you. True D Jones said, happy episode 200.
Woo.
Dude,
Thank you.
I
That's
felt
$1
so-
for every episode.
I feel so bad that I was like late putting up we were busy doing something right before the stream, like before the episode, and I was like, of course, you always feel like you're ready a couple hours before, and then like you realize right before you go live, you got a bunch of stuff you still have to do. So.
Yes, some of those screenshots you want them to resonate for like 10 minutes, so you really your soul starts to understand, you know, the meaning.
I think IRL does like a 20-minute waiting.
Yeah,
waiting
I think
room.
about 7:40. Actually, by 7:50, I know it's up.
I do a 30-minute usually, just because I get anxious and just put it up and let it sit. But
Do you
today,
interact with the crowd in the waiting room?
I put up. I have my own. You know, Tim puts smash the like button. I have gently tapped the like button. And
Is it automatic, or do you do it manually? You just
no,
type?
I type. I usually type gently tap the like button and then ask like a question related to the episode for the day. Today I was just like, gently tap the like button, get ready for 200 more episodes because we were behind schedule. It is my fault. It's a failing of mine.
Congratulations.
By the way, where are we on the crisis party thing? I just want to know if
8?
we should be.
When did that happen?
Yeah, this is lit.
What the? Okay, Center Conservative Mom 98 said, Ian, you forgot crepes in your list.
Crepes, another delicious breakfast.
We have never
flour.
We have never added that one. I don't think I've ever had a crepe in my entire
They're
life.
good.
They're
I have. They're
pancakes.
not.
They're skinny pancakes.
They don't even deserve to be on the list.
They're fun to
Damn.
make. They're really thin.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, and then you can
I mean, I
fill them
know
up
it, like-
with whatever you want, savory or sweet, depending on how you want to make
I'd
them.
be able to pick a crepe out of a lineup. That's about it. I don't think I've ever actually eaten one.
They're good with dulce de leche.
Waffle Sensei said, congratulations, my friends over at PCC. So happy to be here with you guys for episode 200. I wish you all the most jolly of afternoons. You guys have inspired me in many ways. I'll be starting my own podcast soon because of the crew you guys have cultivated. All my love and support.
Dude, that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
The Waffle Sensei Hour.
Who was that?
Waffle Sensei.
Waffle
epic.
Sensei.
That was freaking awesome.
Sensei.
Thank you so much. And that's good luck on the show. Like that's one of the benefits of having this amazing job is like you get to like hang out with people. It's a lot of work, but you love what you're doing. And there is like a kinship that's been developed between people here. We just we were talking before the show, like me and Mary, because they were doing an interview for something here, and we were talking about how it's built relationships with people.
I like when you're doing stuff and then it inspires people to make it, and then they do it even better than you did. That's like it's humbling because it's like, oh,
Watch
you know,
out.
maybe I'm not the best, but at
Waffle
the same time, you're
Sensei.
inspiring future generations to make better art.
A year from now, he's starting.
Waffle Sensei is going to be our biggest
Dude,
competitor.
for sure.
Thank you.
Like a year from now, he's starting drama with us to like build up like.
Michael Aleo said, happy 200. Here's a dime per episode.
Damn.
Thank you
so much.
Halls and the Kids said, waffles can be used to make breakfast sandwiches. Very true, which
That sounds delicious.
places them right below French toast. Hobbit said, Mary, get out, sassy gay boys unite. I don't know if they wanted that name, but
I might have ruined something here, but I'm restarting the Crisis Party because that one didn't go properly.
Oh, okay.
It felt like it didn't. Plus,
Yeah, he doesn't want to dye his hair. Let's be honest.
I don't know. Maybe
He's
tell
like,
Christopher.
Yeah, I think we got about $1,499 tonight.
Yeah, I just cut it off. Like, it's like as soon as we get to like 14.99, I'm like, well, we're ending the episode early, guys. See you later.
Awesome show.
Like,
Bye.
Nathan Settlemeyer said, "Silly Sally loves waffles but dislikes pancakes." Who is that?
Who is Silly Sally?
I don't know.
Maybe me. I don't dislike pancakes. I'm wary of wheat flour. You know,
Why?
too much wheat. The gluten. I get puffy. I had gluten. I had some pizza last night, and I can feel it today. I actually had a sore throat when I woke up.
I've had that happen.
That was weird.
Here's my argument. I think pancakes are superior to waffles because they just really envelop syrup in a way that I just feel that waffles don't. And they're funner when you're drunk. Thank you.
Fair enough.
When you drunkenly.
Yeah, when you pour the syrup.
Apply
Just when they're
the
eating
syrup.
it. They're easier to cut. They're like, And
A good absorbent pancake goes a long way.
it does. My argument's for fluffy pancakes.
I might have missed a few in between here.
Waffle Sensei.
Under Nathan Settlemeyer's.
We've got
Waffle Sensei said, if we get to 20 parties, Dane admits waffles are better. Caber2X said, happy 200th PCC peeps. Sadly, I must retire Hannah Claire from dunking consideration to respect her mourning of the Queen's passing. I hope we can dunk either Dane or Ian for the 300th. God save the king.
Like a dunk tank?
Yeah, look, that was okay. This is the funny thing about this is I made the comment about dyeing my hair. Like Hannah Claire mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I kind of said it like
You didn't know what you were agreeing
I didn't
to.
really like. I was busy,
But now
right?
you face the consequences.
and the amazing people, like the amazing fans who watch the show, have the elephant memory that goes back forever. Dunk Tank might have been mentioned in like episode 2, and they're still talking to Hannah Claire about.
She never said
dunk
yes
tank.
to that, though.
And
You
she
said
never-
yes to the bleach.
Unfortunately, yes. I stupidly agreed to that, thinking that would never happen, and I underestimated the show and the work.
Do you
so.
just bleach the tips?
No, I think we'll do the
No.
whole thing.
It's gonna look good.
Full hog.
I might. I mean, I could do. if anybody wants to start a boy band with me, I could do
Oh,
just
100%,
the tips.
yeah.
I mean, I can't sing.
We
gotta do
can
a
sing
promo
Total
video.
Eclipse of the Heart.
The literal version.
You're going to have frosted tips once it grows out anyways.
That is true.
So,
It's gonna look
That is
cool.
true.
Yeah. Darth Doza said, Brett, you're excellent on the show. No matter where you have been in life, I'm glad you're here hosting PCC, making at least one person's life better. May your skate tricks be plentiful, your hats be infinite, and may pop culture keep you engaged for 200 more.
At least 200 more, and I do
At
wanna,
least.
I do wanna
We're going to
point-
be at 400 before we know it.
It does feel like because you came in around what 85,
80 something.
85, and we're already at 200. Like I remember hitting 100 and being like, man, this has been it's gone so fast. But this summer has gone by.
I know.
5 shows a week, man. That's
Yeah.
like that commitment really creates a bountiful collection of art.
Yeah, it's and it also it teaches you how to like put yourself out there on a regular basis in a way that is like really not necessarily easy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I want it for people to realize like once you start being yourself in public, it's kind of the same as being yourself in private.
Yeah.
But in public, you know.
there's stuff you hold
Yeah.
back. Like there's stuff you hold back.
Legendary.
Like, I was talking to I don't remember who I was talking to recently. I was like being open to me is not necessarily the same thing as like oversharing. Like there's plenty of stuff that I guard, right? That everyone has those things that they guard about themselves.
Gene Wilder was like, I don't mind talking about personal things, like my feelings and my thoughts, but private things I'm not going to talk about in public.
So
like
personal
names
and private
addresses.
are different.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
According to Gene Wilder, I like that a lot.
Interesting. Valhalla Inverts said, fairly new listener and loving the channel. Congrats on 200 streams. Looking forward to the next 200. Let's make Brett blonde.
And then we have to have an episode called Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Okay, here's
Incredible.
the thing. I want to point out this is a funny thing that I was talking about. Calling it streams versus shows.
Not all of them have been streams. That's the funny thing.
I would argue that what we do is closer to a stream than a show because we don't have a set end time. In skating, there's a similar like linguistic thing where back in the day when you made when you filmed for videos, like for skate videos, where you put a part together, you'd film it for a year, and then you'd be in a video like there'd be 3 or 4 people with sections, and then everybody else was in montages throughout the video. You called them sections. Now everything is called edits because everything is on social media, and they're not the same thing. The mindset going into making them aren't the same thing. An edit is something you make in over a day or two or a couple of weeks to put out online. A section is something you filmed with more forethought for a much larger project. And I would get really annoyed when people would call sections edits. And it would seem like a small thing to somebody, but to other people it's very big.
Interesting.
Lindsay said, "Blonde Brett, let's go. Happy 200th episode."
I am okay. Do I get to pick the shade of blonde?
I think so.
No.
No?
No, we're just slapping bleach on there.
No.
Yikes.
We have to at least pick a hair color that's not going to...
Green. I'm uncomfortable from a distance.
You're going to go with like the darkest possible shade of blonde then.
What's wrong with that?
It means that you're not committing.
But I feel like you two, if he gets bleached, then you should change your hair to a darker color.
No, that's more of a commitment because then I have to bleach it all over again.
I don't want to... Mary's blonde. Mary's
I am not
supposed
changing
to
my
be
hair color.
the,
I need the distinction.
Yeah.
Are you going to like not wear a hat too? Is that part of it?
For at least one episode, I will... If this happens, I will not wear a hat.
What about
You're gonna
mental
look
occasion?
so late 90s, like early night, like just that. Are you going to get like a chain and like...
Actually, well, a wallet chain, maybe.
Yeah, wallet chain.
I can't wait.
Karen Taverna sent us 1999 with no message.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bad App said, "Sassy gay boys. Congrats on 200. Taco Bell breakfast #1. Don't talk about Leo. I love you nerds. Gang gang."
You know, I used to wait tables at Dusty's on 3200 Sunset in L.A., and I would wait on Leo's dad. He'd come in a lot. He's
Whoa.
a super cool guy.
Interesting.
He just made it
Beautiful
through
human.
that whole topic without mentioning that. That's incredible.
Yeah, really
just-
nice guy.
We just talked about Leo, the same Leo, right?
Leonardo DiCaprio's dad, yeah.
If I had the same story, I would mention it anytime DiCaprio
He was
was
a great
mentioned.
guy.
Like,
I really liked him.
I do the hook for this is like Jennifer Lawrence says Leo made more than he'd be like, yeah, that's great. But did you know that I waited on Leo's dad? Like, I would have worked that in there immediately.
George DiCaprio. He's
Caper-
super cool.
Caper2X said, "Mary, get the ropes ready. At this pace, I expect Brett to make a run for it. Ian Dane, get ready to tackle the bleached streaker. Make mine Marvel DC boy."
I don't ever want to hear the term bleached streaker ever
Yikes.
again.
Made me really uncomfortable.
Let's pass right over that one.
Shards of Narsil said, "Regarding wage gap, Tara Reid made the same amount for Sharknado as Ian Ziering, 100K, despite the fact she was awful and did hardly anything the whole movie."
Yeah, but
And happy 200th.
But how many more people have heard of Tara Reid than Ian Ziering? I would argue that she has a bigger name.
Interesting. I think it's Ian Ziering. I remember
Ian.
it not being Ian from the 90210 days.
Yes.
Shout out Ian.
I like 90210, by the way.
The
Oh,
original?
that feels right up your alley.
I loved it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
It kind of took itself too seriously, which was hilarious.
Yeah. Was Jenny, is that her name?
Oh, I don't
The
remember
blonde girl?
now.
Was it just hot people in California?
Jenny Garth is her
Like-
name.
Yeah, Jenny
the
Garth
actor.
is a...
People in their late 20s acting like they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And it was just like very serious and soap opera-y.
I was recently creating my master list of shows for people to watch, and it's like, it's so much of it. It's like, it's either spy, law enforcement, science fiction, and then right there,
You know what you like.
And then right there, bam, in the middle, the OC.
Love it.
Benjamin McKenzie.
Halls and the Kid said, "Today's the day, Brett. Blonde Brett."
We will have to see. We're not there yet, guys.
Where are we at?
We're at. We're not there yet. I'm not going to list.
I want to know.
I'm not going.
Oh, yeah, you know they'll aim right for it if they see the target.
Yep, I'm not
Kellen Leeson sent us $4.99 with no message.
Thank you,
Thank
Kellen.
you, Kellen. Let's see here. IHQ.
Wait, Kellen?
Yeah,
Yes,
Kellen.
Kellen.
Oh,
Is that the Kellen?
The
Legendary.
Kellen?
Judging by the picture, that is the
What's
Kellen.
up, dog?
legendary Giga Chad.
IHQ Princessa 96. That was difficult. Said, "Mary, you have to bleach Brett's hair and vlog it."
That was not
You
in
bet.
the contract.
No, that was in the fine print.
No, it was
That is
not.
That's your
worse.
fault for not reading it. Hobbit said, "She's virtue signaling. Let's move on." Thank you for the crisis party, by the way.
Probably in reference to Jennifer.
Yes,
Lawrence,
yeah.
really.
I have no problem with making fun of virtue signaling.
I don't even think she's virtue signaling. I think she genuinely is like butthurt.
Yeah, that's a good point. She wasn't making it innocuously. She was giving a specific example.
It was completely selfish.
She wasn't saying like women make less than men. She's saying I made less than somebody else.
Than a man, a specific man.
I wonder if she was like, I'm a better actor than him.
No,
that's essentially what she's saying. Like,
Dude.
If anything, she's saying I'm equally as good at acting as Leonardo
She is good.
DiCaprio.
She is really, really good. I agree. I mean, I think she's a fantastic.
She's really
actor,
good.
personally.
But DiCaprio's a goat.
Let's
dude.
save him
He's so good.
and move on.
Okay.
Get on to topic 2. All right, so guys, we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Johnny Depp's super lawyer, Camille Vasquez, who I am a fan of, and I do want to point out before we get into this that there will eventually be a TV show made about this woman.
Oh, totally. Or like some kind of dramatized docuseries.
And here's what I think they're going to do, and this is how they culturally change the landscape. What's going to happen? They're going to make a show about her, Camille Vasquez, super lawyer. That won't be the name of it.
She-Hulk attorney at law,
sure. and it will be like it's going to be the same story. It's going to be like amazing underdog lawyer defends famous Hollywood celebrity accused of assault, but it's going to be a woman that she ends up defending. They will quietly change the male part of it and make it female for the Yas Queen slay points.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to have Camille Vasquez do a cameo on She-Hulk. Where she twerks with She-Hulk.
I can't believe they haven't already done
that.
Like
Megan the Stallion.
I can't believe they haven't already done that.
I can't believe it either.
That's a soft entrance.
Just waiting.
So it says Johnny Depp's attorney, Camille Vasquez, has taken on a new celebrity client, signing to represent Yellowstone star Koryanka Kilcher in her legal battle against the state of California. So if you want to know what this story is, basically, guys, she is accused of defrauding the federal government for $96,000 in disability benefits.
Workers' compensation fraud,
benefits.
which I'm confused about because her injuries were sustained in a car crash on set, not during filming.
Yes.
So it really... That's suspicious on its own.
So it says the compensation was given in recognition of Dora in the Lost City of Gold actress Rosita's neck and shoulder injuries, which she acquired during filming. They're saying here during filming. Kilcher alleged that the injuries she sustained were so debilitating work was impossible. The actress had been filming scenes for Yellowstone during this time period in which she was receiving benefits, according to findings from investigations by authorities. I want to know how the findings got out, but also that is pretty brazen to like take in that amount of money in compensation and then still just immediately go back to work and not assume that somebody's going to figure it out.
Well, the findings came from the same source they always do, which is just an anonymous so-called insider.
Somebody close to the investigation shared.
This anonymous source said she was shocked, to say the least, about the charges and is looking forward to getting the truth out there. And they said it was the result of a car accident that she was involved in on set. I don't know if they were in a car in one of the scenes they were filming.
Do you also want to ask the question that how do they quantify 10% disabled?
Yeah, they said she is now 10% disabled for the rest of her life. And my immediate question was, how do you quantify the percentage of your body that is disabled? Is it also a percentage of tasks that you're incapable of doing?
Is it like
I'm
fluent?
confused.
Like, is it some days like 10% of your brain capacity, but other days like 10% of a backache?
Well, yeah.
Is it 5 and 5?
If the scene requires me to run, the 10% is my feet.
What's the margin of error?
Yeah, is it like 8 to like 12? Like, what are we doing?
It says the insider later added, "This is an incredibly." I just want to point out that in true Hollywood fashion, they can't not make this about what Hollywood loves to make everything about, and that's race, gender, sexuality, and activism.
Well, they're going to try.
They're going to try. So we're going to read this, and you're going to laugh. I really do think you're going to laugh. First of all, she's taking money from the federal government. I champion Wesley Snipes being a tax hero all the time. If you get away with it.
And Shakira too.
And Shakira, you go, queen. You
tax heroes.
You do not you do not give the government that money if you don't have to.
OSHA heroes.
So it says. This is an incredibly stressful time for her, but she hopes that this case can in some way shed light on the difficulty that actors, especially minority women across the industry, experience when injured on set, since at the end of the day, their bodies are their source of work. Without being able to use them to their fullest extent, especially for physically taxing roles like those afforded to women of indigenous descent in Hollywood. Many actors are put in a position where they can no longer support their family, themselves or their family. I just can't believe they found a way to say that somehow that doesn't affect people of other demographics.
I want proof that women of indigenous descent in Hollywood are given more physically taxing roles. Yeah. In the first place, there aren't that many people who are Native American in Hollywood to begin with, and that's simply because they're a smaller demographic in the country as a whole.
Yeah, I point out to you all the time, like
there's such a small group that you can pull that data from. I don't think they have any.
Speaking of which, guys, if you're not watching Reservation Dogs yet, go and watch Reservation Dogs. It is a Hulu show that is absolutely fantastic. But like
way better than Prey, by the way. In terms of Native American casts.
The lead actress from that movie, her mom was the casting director of Prey.
No way.
Yeah. Well, that's
how did we not know that?
I knew that. Didn't seem relevant.
It's relevant.
It didn't seem relevant to the fact
it's
that
relevant.
Well, she wasn't the. I'm sorry.
Prey?
She was the casting director for Reservation Dogs.
Oh, okay.
I am sorry. Yes, yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
Nepotism.
Because nepotism.
Yeah.
If she nepotismed herself into Prey, that would make everything fall into place.
No, her mom was the casting director of Reservation Dogs, and she's on Reservation Dogs, but only in like a couple episodes.
Point being, it's a relatively small circle in Hollywood that is of indigenous descent anyway. So how can you prove that these generalizations are true?
They always just say it with a lot of like emphasis.
If you have enough gusto, then you can't question it.
You'll just have to believe it. I also want to point out that you're right about that. One thing that's interesting is like the show Longmire, like almost every talented actor, a Native American actor, worked on that show because the concept of the show required it. Similar to how a lot of the Pacific Island actors worked on Hawaii Five-0 because they live in that area or they're from that area and they understand the culture and are able to portray those roles. So that makes perfect sense. And I we had an interesting discussion off air today about whether the concept of representation is bad. And I said, I kind of came to the idea, like, it's not. It's bad when it's shoehorned into places where it doesn't need to be, like big mainstream publications that don't need that to be discussed in this topic. But shows like Reservation Dogs,
it's contextually relevant.
It's contextually relevant, and it makes perfect sense. There's a scene in the new Rings of Power, and I'm not going to get into the show, but they're on the boat, and there's 3 people supposedly from the same area, like that all look vastly different, and I'm like, you can use all those people, but make them part of different factions, because back in that time period, they likely wouldn't have been part of the same tribe or the same a faction of people traveling together, right? That part doesn't make sense.
It was very rare, at least in fantasy realms. It was always very exotic if you had someone of a different culture in a culture, and they were very unique, a very unique character. So to have a bunch of them kind of diffuses the point.
You can use those same characters, but have them from different groups. Then you have the same amount of representation, but it contextually makes more sense.
Yeah, in the letter that was published on the Rings of Power Twitter account addressed to fans, they said the fantasy genre and Middle-earth has always been multicultural, diverse, and there's just a small faction that's in the fan base of this genre that wants to deny that. But then they can't keep their story straight because there are members of the cast saying that the diversity of the Rings of Power cast is righting a wrong in the fantasy genre and bringing balance where there's normally been an imbalance in casting.
It's whatever sounds good on that day.
They don't really know what the official narrative is.
Tolkien wrote it as like a Northern European, like all his stuff was like ancient England and Scotland, and the dwarves are Scottish, the elves are like the Islanders of Ireland or whatever.
I want to put back to Camille Vasquez. Do you think that she ends up being a Hollywood lawyer from now on?
I think that's what she wants to be, and I dislike that
Why?
because it's looking for influence and name recognition for yourself. Like during,
is that inherently bad?
Well, when the Depp trial was still going on, I could tell that there were questions she was asking in the thank you in the wording and the tone and just the content of what she was asking of Amber Heard. I could tell that it was looking for a soundbite and it was looking for a social media moment, and that distracts from looking for justice, looking for the truth.
Well, here's the issue. So in terms of that argument, so I think the court of public opinion was essential for the verdict in a way, because
so you think she was being calculated?
Yeah, because usually when it comes to these subjects of like sexual misconduct and harassment and divorce, honestly, between men and women, like guys are usually like on the down rung. Like guys are down bad when it comes to that. So
yeah, you're at a narrative disadvantage off the bat.
Right. So creating those buzzworthy moments for the court of public opinion helped. And so I think the lawyer, in a way, is more famous than the actress herself.
She absolutely is. When I made the thumbnail for this, I said Camille Vasquez, and then I says hired to defend, and then I had to like explain who Koryanka Kilcher was.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people haven't seen Yellowstone's one of those shows that I keep meaning.
So who's helping who then? You know what I'm saying? So like her star power, in a way, is kind of helping Koryanka. I hope I said that right.
Like when Johnny Cochran would get hired, and like then it's like they hired the big guns.
Mm-hmm.
They got the.
They even made a Seinfeld character based off that guy.
Yep. So I think this is interesting because she could end up being like one. It kind of it forces her to take only certain cases if she wants to stay on the positive side of like there is such a thing as like a case that the public opinion won't allow her to take, and I wonder if she would. Prove her loyalty to her profession or prove her dedication to her profession by taking a case that's far less palatable down the line.
Something that isn't memeable.
Yeah. Where the public opinion isn't on the side of the person.
Yeah, like there are other Hollywood lawyers, celebrity lawyers who defended
who is that?
Generally hated people. O.J. Simpson, Harvey Weinstein.
Who was that guy who defended the lawyer who was going against Trump? You know what I'm talking about? The one who got sued by he ripped off Adidas or something like that, or he ripped off Nike.
I'm not sure.
David S. something Esquire. The quartering used to make fun of him all the time, but this guy was like he clearly loved the sound bites and he clearly loved the press of it.
David S. Scott Esquire. That's
no,
the first
I don't remember his name. It's he had a really funny name though, but somebody in the chat might remember.
I think as much talk as there was during the
Zaid.
Depp Heard trial. Oh.
It was Mark Zaid or something like that, and it was a meme because there's a comic book writer that nobody likes anymore named Mark Waid. Oh. So it was like really funny that there's a Mark Zaid. Oh, he defended Mark Waid too. So
really?
Mark Zaid defended Mark Waid, and I was like, that was like the first time I thought we were in a simulation.
Yeah, it's not an accident.
I'm like, this can't be a joke.
That must have been very confusing.
Yeah, like
during
Mr.
trial.
Zaid, what does Mr. Zaid Wade? See, I can't even do it.
What was that about?
It was about he was being sued by a YouTuber for tortious interference in a contract negotiation. Deep cut to back when Comicsgate was going on.
Oh, you know what would be interesting? I got off track, but if Camille Vasquez defended like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, let's go.
In this trial coming up in April.
What's Shia's case?
FKA Twigs filed a lawsuit against him in December 2020. It's a sexual battery case. She alleges that he was abusive in their relationship in a multitude of ways. They're going to trial with it in April next year. And he's also simultaneously trying to repair his reputation in kind of a Depp fashion.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting to see Vasquez get involved in that.
Especially since the narrative there is way less clean. Like, it was very easy to show that Amber Heard, whatever you think of their relationship being mutually bad for one another, she was clearly very made her own.
I mean,
mistakes.
she's by no means the good guy there.
So, but with the Shia LaBeouf in FKA Twigs one, there is no counter narrative that shows that she was like you can't villainize her the same way.
I mean, she had the most insanely what's it called, like criminalizing footage ever. She was like, la 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 la. You think they'll ever believe you? Well, smack.
That was
like,
why I had a heart. Like
it's incredible, incriminating. Sorry, that was the
me and
word I was looking for.
Me and Mary, like we did our very best to be at least more like not as anti-Amber, not pro Amber Heard, but not like we made it about how sad it was for society, not how important this case was. But that quote always made it that hard for me, that her like laughing at him and basically saying nobody will ever believe you that you've been abused.
To Shia, the girl said
no,
that
that this is
Amber
about
Heard.
Amber Heard did
Amber
that to
started
Johnny.
And then in the case of Shia LaBeouf and FKA Twigs, there might not be as damning of evidence against her. Thank you.
And I feel
Did we just make it to 15?
No, but no.
You're
not
getting
yet.
nervous?
You would say that. Did we? We did it, didn't we? We did it.
We're getting dangerously close.
Oh, we just got another
We're
50.
at 12. Okay.
Nice job, Brett. Someone said.
I no.
hat.
This is.
Yeah, it's real. Real
It's
life.
definitely happening. Damn.
I demand to be able to choose the color of bleach that eventually.
No.
I like that.
I want slightly.
And it's not in colors, it's in volumes of bleach. So I'm going to use 30.
Wow.
I don't know what that means. It better not be that blonde. I'm not going that blonde.
I feel like
This?
Hannah Claire should be a
Yes,
defense
you are.
lawyer.
What do you think bleached means?
No, this is.
What do you
awful.
think that
This is
means,
awful.
Brett?
You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
look
did you
so
guys
great.
define the term bleach before you agreed to the contract?
The contract. There was no
It's
contract.
implicit.
This is me being a stand-up guy. This is a verbal contract at best.
That's still legally binding.
There was a time.
Bring this up
when
with Hannah Claire. She'll tell you.
Hannah Claire would. There's like she'd be like, you want to come? She's like, we're going out. You want to come with us? I'm like, no. She's like, I mean, like me and her were talking about the power of no. Like one day she's like, you want to come hiking with us? And I'm like, nope. But then one day she's like, you need to come out to eat with us. And I like agreed that day. And then the next time she asked, she's like, you want to go out to eat with us? I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, you said you would. And I'm like, damn it. I did say I would.
Yeah, saying no is phenomenally empowering.
Isn't it an incredibly empowering thing,
Yeah.
especially if it's not something you did a lot when you were younger? I now relish the ability to just be like, nope.
Yeah,
not
people
You
like
used to
you more when
be
you do it.
a people pleaser.
A bit like, yeah.
Anyone but me, because he lied
Yeah,
to
I
me.
still haven't
Really,
watched the
what
episode.
was his lie to you?
So, I'm just going to air it out.
All right.
So,
All right, let's
one
do
day,
it.
Brett needed a spectacular guest host for a day. And he was like, Dane, you beautiful chat, you. Verbatim. Could you please...
Yeah, there's no editorializing.
No
there
editorializing at all. He's like, could you please be on the show today? I was like, in jest. If you'll watch an episode
You
of
did not
Survivor...
say it in jest.
You're right. I meant it quite literally.
I know.
If you will watch an episode... I would have been on the show anyway, but I was like, if you would watch an episode of Survivor, I'll do it. And we shook hands on it! And
That's your word.
But Mary watched the episode for me.
Was it a
She-
particular
But I
episode?
made her a sandwich.
It was what was the season?
No, I got him a
It was like
separate
season 28, episode 1.
Wasn't
and then
it
I
a-
even watched half of the second episode.
Incredible.
I
was
went-
it one you loved?
I made you a sandwich,
And he
though.
made me a really good sandwich in exchange for that.
You know, a friend of mine won Survivor one year. His name-
What?
I know. he told
Fabio.
me.
He was Fabio on Survivor.
Beautiful man.
Judd
Incredible.
Berza is his name. And his character was Fabio.
love
and
this.
Look,
He's amazing.
he's
Long
got a-
blonde
yeah.
hair.
He's got a Leo story. He's got a Survivor
Dude,
story.
Yeah,
This is
living
incredible.
in LA, man. I also went did cocaine with Ron Jeremy one night. That was fun. Yeah, life gets crazy in LA if you let it.
Incredible.
Damn.
Absolutely incredible.
Things
The
can
only thing I
spiral
got
pretty quick.
is Benicio del Toro stole my lighter at an airport. That's all
That's
I got.
amazing.
It's not. He stole
He
it.
owes you a lighter.
I guess. Aha!
What'd you see?
Sorry.
What?
A $200 super chat.
Yeah, people are committed.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Money
Here
coming.
it comes.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, not sorry. He's digging
It's
in.
bleach time.
gonna look
It's
so
bleach
good.
If you guys,
time,
at
Brett.
the very least you guys can do is get us to 20 so that Hannah Claire has to watch all the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh,
More
you're
than-
right. She did agree to
Damn.
that.
Oh,
More
sweet.
importantly, we're back to being the kings of crisis parties.
Let's go.
Late night all day.
I can't believe I have to do this.
We still got like an hour to go.
Oh my god.
Who knows?
Okay, if not Shia LaBeouf, who else would you have have her represent.
What else is coming
Ezra
up?
Miller. Imagine.
Oh my God.
The inevitable
I
Ezra
can't
Miller
believe-
legal mess.
Let's go.
The thing about Camille, I wonder if she took the Depp case because she knew she could win because she thought Amber was such trash.
Like it was in the bag.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily in the bag. They did a lot of hard work, but it's definitely more PR friendly for her. Thank you.
Did she know Johnny beforehand?
Yes.
Brett is like devastated. Yeah. She didn't, but then a lot of people rumored that they dated each other. I don't know.
She's in a serious relationship.
He ended up dating some French tutor of his.
Who did?
Yeah,
Johnny Depp did.
He's he's like the most like he's on trial because he dated a woman that he was in a movie with, and he goes right back to doing that.
Oh no, you never learn.
For me, the funny thing between her and Depp is that they ruined their lives over the Rome Diaries. Yeah. You know, like what a movie to ruin your life over.
I think Ezra Miller has hurt enough people that there could be a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
And
a true menace to
if
society.
Camille Vasquez,
sorry, that day is a monster.
Is a woman of principle, she will defend Ezra Miller.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have to defend the person that one might even be better than Shia LaBeouf. Like
maybe.
Imagine.
I'd be intensely interested in both.
There's no way you can't win for Ezra Miller.
I mean,
there's so much footage of him just being a weirdo.
How about the upcoming Queen's Gambit defamation trial?
What's that?
What's that?
There was this female chess player who sued Netflix, or she's trying to sue Netflix for $5 million because they included in a fictional series historically inaccurate information. They said that no woman had gotten some, I don't know, title or
they had never competed
award.
Against men before.
Yeah, like some milestone she had reached historically by the point that their fictional protagonists
that they had not played against male grandmasters in chess, and she had done that.
She's saying that she has suffered damages as a result of historically inaccurate information in Netflix's series The Queen's Gambit. So they're actually not denied. They haven't had the case dismissed, and it might go to trial. So that's another one in the entertainment industry that's coming up.
Get that cheddar.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
You think so? Because she's kind of whining about like women stuff.
But she won. She competed and won against men, and they said she never did. Is that
no,
what
they
it is?
didn't.
No, she
it's
not
all
she won,
fictional in the show. So it's like you're kind of making the writers liable for a fictional story.
Wait, so in the movie, I got to get this straight.
The series is all fictional. All the characters are fictional.
And the main actress, Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah. She's like a fictional chess champion. And she is saying
but
that...
they reference a real-life person to draw context.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the real-life person suing?
Because they're saying that, I
see.
So.
Well, they're not just mentioning her;
Harmon?
they're omitting true information about her. You are still like fuming over there, Brett.
I want Hannah Claire to be forced to watch movies. If I have to do this,
we're gonna make it to 20.
So 2,000?
Don't worry.
Is it 20,000 or 2,000? When Hannah Claire starts watching
20 crisis parties
at 30, I'll dance the Macarena.
I mean,
sweet.
Who could deny that?
This is just
it's happening.
It's happening. Just resign yourself.
At least
to it
I don't
already.
have to go on IRL.
This is an interesting. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the movie that they think they're defaming someone they referenced by omitting something is a very interesting. That's a long claim.
Yeah, how can you be liable for omitting historical facts from a fictional work?
I just want carnage, honestly. Yeah. Let it happen.
Yeah.
And get your bags.
Right. Frankly.
Let's go super chats.
Let's go to super chats. Yesh said, okay, I tried your number one with mac and cheese. If you're confused right now, this is my Chick-fil-A order. And TBH, I wasn't dissatisfied. Thank you.
What's the number one?
It's just the chicken sandwich meal. Now I have to go work off these fat kid cuisine calories.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong
Don't
with
hate on kid cuisine.
Yep, I stand by that.
Graffer said bleach for the bleach god, blonde hair for the hair throne.
Wow.
Yes.
Center Conservative Mom 98 said favorite Leo movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I haven't seen it. Was it good?
It's okay.
Yeah, I saw clips.
Aardvark219 said Lawrence is no Meryl Streep. Streep's work makes Lawrence's look like those $5 DVD bin movies. What shade of blonde is planned for Brett?
Apparently,
the same one on my head.
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
I don't want to bleach my hair. I want to dye my hair blonde.
No, that was never.
Yeah,
that was
the contrast
never
is
in
nice.
the contract.
We gotta check the tapes.
I didn't know there was a difference.
There's a difference.
Linguistically, I didn't know there was a difference.
I mean, even if you want to dye your hair a shade of blonde, you have to bleach it first, regardless. So you're gonna be bleached anyway.
I like that yellow blonde. Is that what you're going for?
I don't know.
That's even worse than being bleached white.
That's like Eminem or like what's his name, Vanilla Ice from like 1989.
I think he did like white hair.
White hair.
Yeah.
Hells and the Kids said Matthew McConaughey over Leo. Sean Kelly said Friday episode with Ian Crossland. Woo. I talk about graphene more than I talk about Genghis Khan to my friends now. Love y'all. Love the show.
Dude, loving some Temujin. Genghis Khan for the win.
Alex.
You don't hear that statement very often.
You really don't.
Yes. His wife, Bort, man, that's where it's at.
Alex Making Beds said, Ian, I love you. You got me excited off graphene. You bring interesting ideas and points of view, but your prequel virtual reality
vitriol
really brings me down. Sad face.
My prequel vitriol. I gotta tone back anger and frustration.
You hate
I know
prequels.
Oh, on the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I personally was like robbed by it because I was such a huge fan of Star Wars in the 80s. I had the toys. I was obsessed with the Force and Luke Skywalker, and then to see him make a cartoon out of it, it was just devastating.
Yeah.
With Jar Jar, the animated character.
I'm way behind on Super Chats, so you're going to have to go after that one.
So we're down by, that was
there have been
Making Beds.
So many, it's
so it
crazy.
Says, Nessa Ludden, hi Nessa. Nessa's a friend of mine. Congratulations, PCC, 200th episode. Hate I'm missing the show. Well, we are sad that you are missing it as well. Halls and the Kid says, crepes are awesome. I have a crepe pan. We should have a castle crepe day.
So down. You get
Castle
some, was it bechamel sauce in there? Like what is that? Like a cream sauce with like a little bit of chicken, sauteed chicken. Get a savory crepe.
I make bomb fresh toast.
I want some French toast.
And frittata.
Yep. All right. Zane Clark says, congrats, Brett and Mary. Thank you, PCC. Your guests are awesome. Yes, you guys are both awesome. Yes. I also, I do want to point out that Mary is a superhero when it comes to reading the super chats.
Yeah, Mary's the anchor, man.
I am no good. Booster for $19.99 with no message. Thank you, my friend. Joseph.
He said, part of being a man, Brett, you do what you say.
Well, I'm going to do it. It just doesn't mean I'm going to do it happily.
Can you bleach him while watching Survivor? That would be just incredible.
That'd be great.
It's going to be in the vlog, guys.
I make
members only content.
I make fun of the term trauma all the time. This is getting close to traumatic.
That's why you got to record it. You'll remember later. It's going to make great content.
He has tunnel vision right now. That's why he is having trouble reading the super chats.
Dragon's Talon 1001 says, so if PCC gets 20 crisis parties, does Brett get a Brazilian wax?
Oh, no.
No.
No, that's too far.
Hannah Claire dies. No. Hannah Claire watches all Fast and the Furious movies if we get to 20 crisis parties.
In order?
What do you mean?
Like from 1 to 13 or whatever it's at now?
She's going to be shaking in her boots down there right now.
Tokyo Drift rule.
Grofty for $5 says, boy band called Just the Tips.
Yeah.
Mary might have ignored that one.
Frosted
I'm not ignoring
Tips,
that one. No, Just the Tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would have ignored that one.
Lane for $5 says, happy 200th. Happy 200. Don't forget you're us OG viewers after y'all surpass IRL. You're obligated to remember all 400 of us daily viewers. I am not parasocial. Hashtag I'm not parasocial. Hashtag PCC 200. Last night Tim on IRL said, he's like, I fully expect that show to be bigger than IRL in 2 years. I'm like, so no pressure then.
Jeez.
Thanks.
Yeah.
In 2 years, make it 1.
I think he said I thought he said 1. Somebody else said that they thought he said 2.
Make it 6 months. No, I won't bluff.
Tonight.
So, are you caught up? Or are you?
Nope.
Okay. Greg Duvier. I'm assuming that's Duvier. I enjoy the show and congrats for 200 episodes to Brett, Skull, Minnesota Vikings, and FTP this weekend season opener. I haven't watched football in years. I support my home teams. And there was a fantastic meme today that said, the Queen lived 96 years of amazing history, but never saw the Vikings win a Super Bowl.
Oh,
incredible.
Dante Culpepper, though.
Yeah,
that was a good time for me.
Chris Carter was really good. Dante Culpepper.
The Culpepper years was like that's when dudes could run.
Joseph. There was a lot of really good people to come through.
Yeah,
through
2003, 2002.
Not enough, apparently.
Not enough to win a Super Bowl.
Who's that running back?
Joseph Linney has said,
Adrian
pink
Peterson.
highlights, bleach blonde, let's do this.
There will be no...
We can't add more colors. That's...
Wow.
You're rewriting history. I have to be fair to Brett.
Brewmaster Monk for $20 says, "Yo, Ian, super based last night. Look into the USS Liberty event, the Apollo affair, dual citizenship among members of Congress, the dozens of Stingray devices found in D.C., and the religious prophecies surrounding Edom."
I would love to. Send me that on Twitter. Send me
cool.
that data somewhere else so I can have it in writing. Thanks, dog.
So it's we've got the Almighty
believe
Truffles for $5 says, "What
Great
about
name.
Brett goes blonde and Mary dyes her tips purple and gives herself a mohawk?" I don't know. What does OWO mean? Or zero?
It's just
Ooh.
a face. It's like,
Oh, okay. Hashtag Punk Mary.
I don't know. I mean, I've done all those colors. I've done purple all over my hair before. I think I'm kind of over it.
Halls and the Kid for $5 says, "It would be funny if Hannah Claire crashed the show to celebrate this milestone." Well, she's going to try and end this show before we get to...
She's going to sabotage the show so that she doesn't have to watch Fast and Furious.
She
Like
just
run
turns
in
the
and
breaker-
tackle the camera in the middle.
turns the breaker off
Yeah.
downstairs. It says, Johnny Derp said, oh no, I'm sorry, we got to go up one. Joseph for $5 says, "Remember the old piranha horror flick At the Water Park? Timeless. Never saw it." I'm not a huge horror fan.
I hate it.
It's not really my genre, but
Yeah, I thought Scream was okay.
I love the Scream movies.
That was well acted,
that-
really good at.
Why would I pay to be uncomfortable?
Well, actually, like horror is in a lot of ways is the same as like comedy. Like they were talking about on IRL last night, like how like hearing it without the laugh track, it's miserable to have to be funny for a camera all day because it's not inherently funny to have to be funny for your job. It's not the same thing as performing live. You're doing it in a way that's supposed to land for people that are going to see it later.
Yeah, there's no feedback, so you don't know if
Yeah.
it's working or not.
Yep. Johnny Derp says, "She-Hulk attorney at LOL." At
So
LOL.
much cringe.
So much cringe. The Book of Deuteronomy for $2. Congrats on the 200th episode. Caper 2X for $2 says, "She-Hulk, legal stuff is quite interesting." I just I've been watching Boston Public. You mentioned Ally McBeal the other day. That's a David E. Kelly show. I'm preferential to the practice and to Boston Legal.
And I always wanted to see Ally McBeal. I never saw an episode, but it was one of those shows I would see commercials for, and I thought it looked awesome because like they would use weird distortion, like special effects and stuff on her face and things like that.
Should we move on to the next segment? Come back.
All right, I'm still way
You're still way
behind.
behind?
I don't know.
We're gonna get to all
Guys,
of them, guys. Don't
we're
worry.
creating the evolution of pop culture crisis where not all the super chats are going to be able to be read because there's
No!
so many.
Yeah,
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. So,
How
all right,
things
guys,
evolve.
we're this is kind of a like this might have been a better topic too, but we make mistakes and we move on. I should have done this from this topic too. Alejandro G. Iñárritu was how I heard it pronounced. Dane, do you want
Dane was like, "That's cute."
Impeccable.
go ahead? What do you pronounce it, Dane?
I think it's in. Let me look it up. Iñárritu.
Okay, there you go. Still hurt by Robert Downey Jr.'s response to his belief that superhero films are cultural genocide, and that is a bold claim to make.
And
my
back
friends.
in 2014, which might have been before Marvel got as oversaturated as it is
So
today.
he made the movie Birdman, which is about basically a guy, like a washed up superhero actor.
It's like a dark comedy about him.
I didn't see it. I saw The Revenant. I haven't watched all his work, but basically he talks about Robert Downey Jr. weighed in on Iñárritu's. Dane,
Incredible, bro.
tell me how it's pronounced.
I think it's Iñárritu.
Well, I can't do that.
But I don't know if it's Spanish pronunciation, the vowels, you know.
He weighed in on his comments in 2015 during an interview with The Guardian to promote his turn as Iron Man in the Marvel blockbuster Avengers.
Well,
Age of
I want to
Ultron.
just say what he said at the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
In 2014, He said, I don't respond to those characters. They've been poisoned because the audience is so overexposed to plot and explosions and bleep. That doesn't mean nothing about the experience of being human. Couldn't agree more.
And the funny thing is,
personally,
if you look up his, I thought this was really interesting. If you look up his Wikipedia, it says, for his page, it says he's credited from 2014. He says, as a Mexican filmmaker and screenwriter, he is primarily known for making modern psychological films about the human condition. So he clearly cares very deeply about that. But that's not what superhero movies are supposed to be. But I don't disagree with a lot of his
Why
claims
aren't
here.
superhero movies supposed to be that, though? Shouldn't that be any film?
No.
Even unintentionally, a story written... I mean, you can't not write a human story. It's, you're incapable of it.
Let me go back to his...
you shouldn't specifically avoid that, right? But I think even when this director attempts to write stories about the human condition or do art installations like the one I was looking at earlier about the human condition, he sometimes misses the mark and, you know, in all fairness, deserves criticism for that. But I don't think that goal in particular is mutually exclusive with certain genres.
And Robert Downey Jr. noted that he respects the heck out of him, but mocked him for his Spanish roots by saying, for a man whose native tongue is Spanish, to be able to pull together a phrase like cultural genocide just speaks to how bright he is. That feels like a pretty hot, spicy take from...
In 2015.
From a guy like Robert Downey Jr., who's a pretty diplomatic...
What confuses me, though, is that I don't know what angle he's going for. Because he can be the angle of, well, you have a Spanish name and the Spaniards were colonizers, the OGs. Or you have a Spanish name, thus you're a victim. So I'm really lost between the context of what he's trying to say.
Downey Jr. is good at saying really offensive things in a charming way. So people are like, oh, it's okay. If you can be... darkly humorous and insult people's heritage if you can do it in a charming way.
And
seems
but in
like
text
he
it
took
doesn't
it
translate.
pretty hard.
The director responded. He says, it was like, you guys from your banana country. If I were from Denmark or Sweden, I might be seen as philosophical, but when you're Mexican, you're seen as pretentious.
I gotta say, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, I got mad respect for this dude. I wholeheartly agree with this statement that superhero movies have just completely blown the plot. And it's all about it's about spectacle, the loss of like Spider-Man is about the human condition. That guy is about losing his uncle and then being forced like, what have I done? I didn't stop evil when I had the chance, and now I suffer because of it. And now he fights evil.
But even his reasoning behind disliking superhero, like as just a word, is interesting. He said, what the F does that mean? It's a false, misleading conception, the superhero. Then the way they apply violence to it, it's absolutely right-wing. If you observe the mentality of most of those films, it's really about people who are rich, who have power, who will do the good, who will kill the bad. Philosophically, I just don't like them. Now, if you look at a movie like Samaritan, it's the exact opposite of what he just said.
I also want to point...
So he is kind of painting with a broad brush, and I don't think that's fair.
I also want to know what he means by the violence is right wing and what that has to do with being rich, because if we're being honest, the left is the party of billionaires in the corporate structure now, so he's wrong about that. If you were talking about the military industrial complex back in the day, maybe that would be a more apt comparison. But there is a weird dynamic that I've noticed that, have you ever seen that meme that says, it's like, if I was Elon Musk and I was worth like $80 billion, you could just be... No, they say it about Jeff Bezos because that's somehow a weirder comparison. Like, dude's worth like $80 gazillion. Why doesn't he just be like Batman? Which just proves to you that they don't know how money works and that not all your money is liquid assets.
Well, they also
superheroes are fake.
Yeah, they conflate fictional stories that they watch with the real world,
because Harry Potter is their Bible. And also I want to point out that this is one of those things that they have this almost weird power fantasy of what they would do if they were a billionaire. They would be they imagine themselves as this protector of the innocent, blah 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 blah. But what they always fail to realize is you can do good in your community without being a billionaire. But it doesn't mean that you have the right to tell other people how to live their life or spend their money. I just feel like and they're right about one thing. They are always, these characters, they're always geniuses and they're always rich, right? So that's not untrue.
My issue with this is So the reason why superhero movies are so predominant, obviously, is because of Marvel and they're like a legendary IP, and thus people were excited to see some of their favorite childhood their favorite childhood stories being brought on the big screen with genuinely incredible actors. However, that aside, when you average up all the superhero movies in terms of ratings and enjoyableness, even the worst modern superhero movie is not as bad as all the Yas Queen girl boss stuff. And I feel that some directors need to take a look in the mirror, and it's like, well, you're losing to men in tights pretending to fly.
Yep.
And that's because
that's
how
not just that.
empty the plot is in your stories.
Yep.
Because I don't think most people aren't prone to relate to that. Most people, when I was young, would make fun of the nerds for liking stuff like that.
They don't want to go and be told a deeply complex story all the time. They want to go and turn their. I know Mary has a problem with going to a movie theater and turning your brain off for 2 hours, but that doesn't mean they're not, like you said. That doesn't mean there aren't human stories being told there if they're done right, right? Like.
If they're done right.
Yeah,
but I don't like the implication that just because it's a superhero film, they're incapable of that, and it has to be superficial.
No, and The Dark Knight is evidence against that. Yeah. Because, as you often say, the directors and the actors elevated the source material to a level, and they took it with a seriousness that it deserves. And one day, I hope that the same treatment, because it didn't happen overnight. Like, superhero movies were god awful for a long while.
Many decades.
For a long while. And I hope that video games one day like really have that moment where they break the mold and they genuinely have great actors, speaking of a great plot.
I got a question for you. Do you think video games are by their nature harder to adapt?
Yes, because a lot of the relation that I always talk about Final Fantasy VII because it's a very popular game, and it's kind of like a theatrical game, and famously one of the protagonists dies within that game. Spoilers, lol. But the thing is, my relation with her was not only because she was charming, she was likable, but I played her. She was one of my favorite characters. She was a wizard. She was really good. I used her to conquer a lot of challenges that I found difficult. And she died, and I couldn't use her anymore. I was like, you know?
Yeah.
Because like she was one of my top 3 characters. And it's hard to kind of... because you can have the loss of, I'm going to miss her dialogue, I'm going to miss her interactions, but you'll never have, in a movie sense, the loss of, damn, I can't use those super dope magic stats or that limit break, you know?
It's kind of like losing an arm.
Basically, you're losing a tactic that you're using. And that's just one example. But the thing is, in games, you play as you are. I like magic, just like conceptually the idea of it. And so I like magic users. And let's say in a movie that they got transcribed, they got like a super giga chat to play a character that in a game that I don't like, and some loser to play a character that I do like. Well, then I'm going to have an issue with the movie inherently, where as a video game fan is like, hey, you messed up my favorite character. Whereas people that are just jumping into the medium simply because of the movie, they're going to be, no, this movie's great because like legendary giga chat's in it.
Can I ask? I'm gonna So you think that video games are by their nature hard to adapt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like from a book to a video game or a movie. You're saying it's harder to go to a video game?
No, like saying taking a comic book and making it a movie would be easier than taking a video game and making it a movie because of the interactive element to it, perhaps.
My dream would be either a long form series or a series of movies of the Final Fantasy VI game, because I feel it's truly when I explain the story to people and I lie and I tell them it's a book instead of a game, they always tell me, man, like I need to read this. And then when I was like, Jake's on you, it's actually a game.
Jake's on you.
It like blows their minds because they're like, I had no idea that a game could be that interesting or a story could be that deep.
Yeah.
In a game.
I also want to point out that this director, there's kind of some stuff about him that's after my own heart, meaning a lot of it's like he's real sensitive to like critique of his work. And I understand that kind of implication. So,
but I think he's sensitive to a critique of his comment more than his work.
Well, yeah, because like down here it says, where did I just lost what I was talking about here?
And also on the grounds of identity, which
when you make it about your identity, you're going to be it's going to be a lot harder to take critique.
Think that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be held to account for what he said now that like sensitivities have changed?
No, I don't.
It's been 7 years or so since he said that.
I think this will come to pass and it'll blow over. And I of course I lost my.
You know what they should do? I think is they should make the Incredible Hulk go completely insane in the next movie. Make it really dark. Have him kill.
Well, they can't do that now that they've made him out to be a complete soy boy in the series.
They need to fix it. So then he kills like a really loved hero, and then he gets hooked on like a opiate or something when he's Bruce, and he's just a mess. They need to destroy that guy to make him interesting again.
They did a storyline like that with in DC with Green Arrow and not Artemis, was it Speedy? Like where he abandons his sidekick because he gets addicted to drugs. This is back in the 70s. But also I want to point out they can't do that now. Like when Tim found out that they were doing Daredevil at Marvel, right? Like that they took Daredevil with Charlie Cox and brought him over to Marvel to play the same character. I told him dude, it's not going to be this. It's not going to be good. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, well, it's like he's playing the same character. He's playing Daredevil. I'm like, what they made at Netflix was allowed to be dark because it was made at Netflix. What they're going to make at Marvel at Disney will never be allowed to be that way because Disney has a brand to uphold, and they will change the character. Sure, he's portraying the same character, but it's going to have mild tweaks. There's going to be jokes where there was never jokes before.
Disney is so trigger happy with censorship after it's already released too.
Yes.
They can't step out of bounds.
Take that, Hannah Claire.
Thank you, guys.
Ha, ha, ha.
Love you,
Did
Hannah.
she say all of the movies or just one?
All of the movies.
Oh, did you just say 2000?
We're at 20?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, I think we're going to get to Macarena. This is crazy.
Party.
Take that, Hannah Claire. You're doing it.
So what's the best Fast
Everyone
and the Furious?
loses.
I think Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift.
I've been wanting to watch
original.
Tokyo Drift, actually.
I like it.
The original.
The first one.
The very first one.
I still haven't seen it. I guess maybe I should glance.
I at the very least watch the first one because if you it becomes so absurd afterwards that it's not even the same thing. The first one is a genuinely good summer cop blockbuster film. It's very good. After that, they get more and more ridiculous, and I love every single bit.
It's the main actor. He died. What was
Paul
his?
Walker.
Paul Walker.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy.
So
was
they've
something.
got another one in the works right now with Brie Larson.
And
do you know when that's coming out?
Jason Momoa next year.
Oh.
Okay.
And Jason Momoa gets to play the bad guy.
I hope Brie Larson has a research. I hope she gets an opportunity to make good on just do a good role because she's a good actor.
I disagree.
Thoughts
with
on that, Dave?
You think she's a bad actor?
I don't think she's
a babe.
I have yet to see the evidence. I'm open to it, but I don't believe that
Scott
she's,
Pilgrim. What's it called?
Yeah. Scott Pilgrim Saves the World.
Her role in that was relatively small, though.
I mean, she was cool in it.
It was cool, though.
And I'll be fair, I haven't seen that movie that she won the Oscar for.
Oh, I didn't know she won an Oscar.
It's like The Room or something like that. Not the Tommy Wiseau Room, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was like,
want
what?
her in some hard female strongman character, dumb crap. I want to see her get busted up and then come back and be stronger, or maybe even get killed off. Something awesome where you remember it.
It's just
Harvey
people,
Celis.
and I play people. That's a quote she had.
Harvey Celis.
Wait, what?
From
She's
Final
like,
Fantasy VI.
Just people, and I play people.
What about
She's a son
Did
to-
Harry Styles say that?
No.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's a very.
I
good-
just play pretend.
That's a very good Harry Styles.
Yeah, she would carry. If she played Celis, if you know Final Fantasy VI, she would carry that movie. She would be the lead because that's one of three characters that's kind of the lead. That's the great thing about Final Fantasy VI is there's multiple storylines and multiple leads interwoven. It is one of the best stories ever written, I think, that I've ever read.
Let's go to Super Chats,
let's
guys.
go to Super Chats.
I'm still behind,
We're
so
so far behind.
But so far
I don't know
ahead.
how we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
All right.
At least for this episode, I want to read all of them.
James Orenthal wins. Says happy 200th fam, enjoying the ride. Fun fact: the school's shot of Beverly Hills 90210 was Torrance High School, but North was not Torrance High School. Did I read that? Was Torrance High, but not North High. North High Saxons for the win because Wee Man and Chuck Norris.
Dude, sounds so Cal at heart.
You know the character in 90210 who she worked on the school newspaper and just thought she was the shit.
Yeah, what is her name?
She was so annoying. And then she's like the prototypical female character who is like insufferable and mean to this one guy, and then he falls in love with her because she's mean.
Does the show hold up?
Like, I hate that so
that trope
much.
in Hollywood is one of the most annoying. It's like people who are just jerks to each other.
It was that
and
to a T
like,
in 90210.
We got Tori Spelling. It wasn't Tori Spelling.
It wasn't Tori
The girl with
Spelling.
the circular glasses.
Yes.
What was
Yeah.
the girl's name?
Andrea.
Andrea.
I
was
have to
the
read this
character's
one
name.
more time.
She's so annoying.
Happy 200th episode. Happy 200th, fam. Enjoying the ride. Thank
you.
Yes.
Fun fact, the school shot of Beverly Hills 90210 was Torrance High, but North High Saxons for the win because Wee Man and Chuck Norris. I didn't read it completely wrong. I think there might.
Oh, I see. North High, Torrance High. There
I
must be
wanted
some
to-
drama.
I needed another shot at that one.
Okay.
Oodles McNoodles for $50. Thank you. Says congratulations on 200. Thank you, Oodles.
Based.
Is Oodles McNoodles a first and last name?
I love it.
Yes. That's his legal name.
The Kilted Carnivore for $99.99 says 200. You guys rock.
Yes.
Damn, dude.
Johnny Derp for $5 says there was already POC in Tolkien's work. The Herodrim Brown wrote in on, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of this stuff. Oliphants, and fans didn't complain because it was consistent with the lore. That's all people want, dude. They want you to be consistent with the lore and the material. Harold Wiley for $99 says blondes have more fun. Well, I have yet to see that to be
Especially
prove that to be
fake
true.
blondes.
Ivan Ortiz for, is it Yvonne or Ivan?
I'm not
Ivan.
sure.
Yvonne?
Ivan. IVAN.
Ivan News.
I'm rolling the dice on this one. I'm
Said,
saying
Brett,
Ivan.
all of us are sending you to the Shadow Realm. Just accept what is that?
Brooder?
A
It's
brooder?
like brother. Bad App for $5 says, I'll wait until Mary turns 25 so I don't have to worry about Leo stealing my girl. There you go. And here's the thing.
I'm caught up now, I
Okay.
think.
All right.
George said Brett is looking a bit nervous.
Well, it's too late now. We're
Yeah,
well
way
we're well
past that.
past we're
It's
well
like you already
past
hit
that.
the finish line.
Yvonne Ortiz said, good job, by the way, Ian, landing 20s last night.
Yo, critical success, bro.
Mary said, congrats on 200 episodes. I enjoy this show so much and look forward to it every day. Great job to you all.
Thank you. Like, seriously, thank you. That means, like,
Yeah.
I can't explain to you how much it means to know that people actually care and want to watch and care about what we have to say and enjoy the show. Thank you so much.
High Voltage 75 said, nice hat, Brett. You ready to take it off? Get the bleach ready, Mary. SKOL, go Vikes.
All I know is that this is going to... I'm not going to not wear a hat every day. I
Yeah.
will show it,
It will show.
but the hat stays on.
So
Just like the socks.
Oh, jeez. Mr. The Cool One said, I would like for people to stop making adaptations. Maybe do something original. I don't know, just a thought. Or if you do, just consult with the hardcore fans like they did with the Sonic movie.
Honestly, at this point, just literally plagiarize. Change the character names, tell the exact same story, and change, like, what I say is, like, you could have made the same Lord of the Rings thing, change Middle Earth to, like, Midland, and, like, call it the same thing, and people will be a lot more forgiving because you're at least pretending to do your own thing. I'm just kidding about plagiarizing.
Yeah, well, it's creative adaptation.
Yes,
It's the good version of plagiarizing. You don't actually copy it. You just twist it and then make something new.
Yep. You might actually be surprised how well how creative you become when you do that.
Yeah, I just start somewhere random, like outer space, and then pick an animal, and
Perfect.
there's your character.
Waffle Sensei's
Giraffe.
podcast is gonna be like Crisis of Pop Culture.
Imagine a zero gravity giraffe, which has like a debilitatingly long neck.
So then you crash land on a planet with strange
I can't.
giraffes, or they crash land on Earth or something. I'm partial to the gorilla.
Yvonne Ortiz said 12 out of 15, boys, let's go. Well, that was ages ago.
Oh, wow.
Nathan Settlemyer said, silly Sally likes fluffy pancakes, but not flat pancakes.
Is that you?
Are you?
Silly
am I
Sally?
Silly Sally?
I have no
You
idea.
are Silly Sally.
Who likes flat pancakes?
I like it. I like them all.
Yeah.
I'm just combative with Waffle Sensei.
Do you put butter on your pancakes?
I do.
No, I mean,
I don't like it. I don't like the
I don't
butter.
mind.
I don't mess with it normally.
Have you ever seen those
I'm not
videos?
against it, but
those videos on Instagram of the girl who does like she acts weird and she's like, people call me weird, and then she eats a stick of butter while she's doing it.
Or like an onion, like a raw onion, like an apple.
Yeah.
I never understood why people do like crazy things for views on the.
I
never understood that.
Honestly, eating a stick of butter is kind of innocent and funny.
I knew a girl that would pour ketchup on her head, and I was like, I can't go down that road, guys.
Luis Aguilar said, Ian, love you, buddy. Just wanted to say that when I use the word right in a conversation, it's to check to see if the other person is keeping up with what I'm saying, not to ask them if I'm correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Grofty said, just the tips? Is that a reference to something?
Yeah.
They're like,
it's a reference.
It's our boy
like
band name.
a song.
Yeah.
Bobcat said, wait, isn't Hannah Claire also supposed to watch all of the Fast and Furious movies in 1.5 more crisis parties?
Getting there.
That was ages ago, so we're past that.
We're past that now.
Waffle Sensei, god of chat rooms, said, Brett, on behalf of chat, just want to say we are oh so sorry for making this happen to you. I mean, aw geez, buddy. Oh shucks, darn. Our bad dude.
I'm glad you're embracing your godliness, though, Sensei.
They really are in charge of this show.
They are.
King Olis said, sorry, not sorry.
And that was the one that put us over. So
Thank you.
I'm holding a grudge personally.
You'll remember forever.
But I will remember forever, my friend. But thank you.
Bobby said, happy Friday, y'all. Brett, please eat a few more chili cheese burritos for me. Your bleached mane will look great.
That is fantastic.
You make your own burritos?
No.
From Taco Bell. They're a regional delicacy.
I was telling a story about how I have friends from Florida where they don't have chili cheese burritos, and I used to, when I would go to Taco Bell, I would get one. I would take a picture and say F you to my friend and send it pictures of chili cheese burritos that they couldn't get.
Yeah. I used to love Taco Bell, man. Burrito Supreme.
Yeah.
I mean, you get those 49-cent crunchy tacos. Sometimes it'd be 39 cents. Get like 10 of them each.
But because
Not
of
anymore.
inflation, not anymore.
Nope.
Those are the days.
Thanks, Obama.
Yvonne Ortiz said we should hostage party them so we get to 15.
Didn't even need
This
to.
is history now.
Hostage party. I love it.
Lindsay said it's done.
It is done.
It really is. You sealed your fate, Brett. Nathan Settlemeyer said, happy 200. Ian is the best. Stay legendary, my dude.
Yes.
1,000
It's
Foot
like a
Deep
golden
End
lead
said,
box.
congrats on 200 episodes. What better way to celebrate than 20 parties? Let's go, crisis actors.
We did. Unbelievable.
And we're going to get more. Bad App said, I know you hate dogs, but it's my dog's birthday.
Well, happy birthday,
Happy
Bad
birthday
App's
to
dog.
your dog.
What's up, dog?
It's a special day for a lot of people and animals today.
It's a good year for birthdays.
Crumbus Bembus said, love from IE. I don't know where that is.
I.E. Ireland?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's go.
Thank you. Caper2X said, dead bleached boy walking.
Well, yeah, it's past that now. I'm long dead now.
Dude, you got to spike it.
Oh my god.
Like, look Super Saiyan.
I should at least get to trim the sides first and get my regular haircut.
We'll let you
before I
express
do that.
yourself.
I like the loose, like
It'll
kinda,
look
it's very
good
grunge.
if you get a real haircut with it, you know?
A real
Maybe
haircut.
get a professional to bleach you.
Somebody will have to. Oh my god.
Or they just really want me to do it.
We'll have to go
'Cause-
in.
Yeah, for the memes.
Somebody will have to. We'll figure it out because I need to get it trimmed on the sides first before.
Oh
we
my
do
god,
You could do
double
that.
decker tacos? Sorry.
I know, I'm seeing
Okay. Hobbit said, congratulations on 200 episodes. On the popularity of the show has led to this. Brett, we will love you whatever color your hair is. Mary, one day your heart will turn and you will change your outlook on shopping carts. Dane, keep being awesome.
Thank you.
Happy Bleach Day.
I will say this show, for me, has been more fun every episode.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Because you're on like sporadically enough that you're able to see the growth, I think, more than we can.
And Ezra Miller.
Yes. Just keeping up periodically with Ezra Miller's antics. 1,000 Foot Deep End said first chat didn't send, just tuning in. And oh, Brett, this is what you get for underestimating the crisis actors. Love the show, guys.
Power of horizontal movement.
What does that mean?
What?
I love it.
Joe Biden is a bleep, said happy 200.
Thank you.
Grofty said buck, buck, buck. just the tips.
Let's do a couple more, and then we'll move on, and we'll do the rest at the end.
Unknown said, Mary, we need a video of the bleaching, please.
I don't know if
they want me to do it.
I don't know if I consent to that.
Really? Because that seemed to be in the contract.
I have consented to having my image debased further.
Don't tell me you're trying to get a professional to do this.
I don't know who's going to do this. I know that
I've bleached my hair so many times.
There is no allotted time that says I have to keep it for any length of time, but we will see.
Imagine if that's what ruins the show, because like Mary bleaches her hair and she ruins it, and dude, you guys just have beef.
It'll grow back. Don't be dramatic. Caper2X said, someone go and get Hannah Claire for a bow.
Oh yeah, Hannah Claire, are you listening? This is your day.
Yep, she's going through too. All right, guys, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do Crisis Party. We're gonna go and do Podluck. And then after we do Podluck, we will read the rest of the Super Chat. So the first thing me and Mary are going to do is we are going to talk about episode
Rings of Power episode 3.
Yep, we are going to talk about episode 3. Mary, I want your first impressions on it off the top of your head.
Okay. It was fine. It was mid, as I expected it to be.
I like it mid.
It's whatever.
It's literal fast food. The problem is Tolkien shouldn't be fast food.
Yes, that's the inherent problem. It's what you've been saying. Yep. If it were an original...
It'd be great.
If it were an original creation and not derivative of Tolkien, which has such a hardcore fan base and so much history to it, and it has so much heart in the books, if it were just plagiarism even, and it were mid but tolerable, I'd be like, yeah. Fine. Like, maybe even a soft recommend from me. Yep. But... I find it just disrespectful in and of itself that it's just so forgettable.
There is no Bronwyn in this, which is an automatic down for me. No Bronwyn.
Yeah, I knew you would be mad about that.
The lack of Bronwyn is a problem, considering she's the character I really like. I will say that Aaron Deere redeemed himself in the personality department with his with what happened with him and his friends.
Really?
Oh, by the way, guys, we're going to spoil it. The people don't care. Everyone's like, you're watching this, so we don't have to.
Yeah, they don't care about spoilers.
Aaron Deere had 2 friends die, and I thought he actually did a very good job of emoting that he was not happy with what was going on.
What character is he?
He's an elf.
He was the one protecting Bronwyn, but he was what were they, guards at that in that village?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm barely gonna be able to explain this to you. This is very
well. There are so many geographical locations that it's difficult to remember. But Aaron Deere was taken captive by orcs, and then him and some other elves are made into like work slaves for digging their tunnels.
The visuals on the orcs was good.
Yeah, but then that awful CGI orc dog.
That was the only.
That was the worst CGI I have ever seen in the show.
But the face CGI on the orcs was great. That was not all makeup.
Let's go back to the negative.
Yes.
The orc dog.
The orc dog.
The orc dog.
Yes.
What was that? Yes. It looked so bad. It was like Merlin level.
Oh, it wasn't that. Okay, it wasn't that bad.
No, it was like it was that bad.
It was bad, but it was not Merlin level bad.
It was awful.
Merlin level.
It was like laughably bad.
Merlin level CGI is literally so bad that it's good.
Is that like the benchmark for bad CGI?
For this genre.
I'll grant you that this CGI was not so bad it's good. It just looks lazy in comparison to the rest of the show.
Galadriel is still Suckladriel.
No, she's not.
Galadriel sucks.
This is what I want to do. I want to argue with you about Galadriel because listen, this show it put the nail in the coffin of your argument that she's a girl boss.
I don't care. I'm saying she's unlikable. Not that she's a girl boss. I'm saying she sucks. As a character, she sucks.
Your entire argument was because she is like a Mary Sue girl boss.
She has no personality.
Exactly what you were saying.
She's dry, boring, has no personality. And that conversation for her and what is the guy's name? Elendil?
Elendil.
That guy's awesome. Okay, his acting was awesome. His scene with her where they're talking when she's like, I think did I write it down? I just remember writing it down. It's like him, cool, her, Sucksville, population her.
Sucksville. Love it.
Well, she's taken captive in a foreign nation. Why would she be happy?
She's annoying. The character sucks.
Give a real reason.
A
real one.
Even her anger comes across as boredom. Even her indignancy comes across as boredom. There's nothing redeeming about that character. I'm sorry. My personal opinion, nothing redeeming. But
just for the people out there who are saying that they're girl bossifying Galadriel,
I'm not saying that.
I want to point out, well, it's a common criticism, even if it's not yours. Arendir, with that getting, like, in that fight scene with the orcs, his stunt climbing across the chains was exactly the same like level of high fantasy, like unrealistic physics that Galadriel did climbing on the sword of her companion. And
we don't have to say I will say that I enjoyed her her scene with the Queen because I love Cynthia Addai Robinson, and I thought she did a really good job as the Queen.
Her anger was just as bland as Galadriel's.
But no, it was not. It was regal in its annoyance.
Galadriel is also royalty.
I will admit that it could be my fondness for the actress who portrays the Queen that I liked it better. But let's move. We're never going to agree on this. What about the Harfoots?
I loved Nori, but I did find it confusing when her parents didn't defend her. Yeah, as the whole community was like railing against her, trying to decaravan her. I don't like the way her is that her stepmom?
I don't know if that's.
I think it's her stepmom.
I thought it was supposed to be I thought they were just ignoring.
No, because her father was talking to Marigold, the stepmom, about how they met after he lost his first wife.
Yeah, and I loved that exchange. I loved that whole bit.
Cute,
I love it. Everything.
But Marigold treated Nori really badly when, like, she said, "You think you're special? You're just a child." It was like kind of weird to watch that when Marigold ordinarily in her other scenes was so pleasant and motherly.
I might have looked at it that differently because I kind of looked at it as like I didn't know whether she was actually supposed to be mom or stepmom, and knowing now that like I know that makes no sense given that they look nothing alike, but it's high fantasy. If they're ignoring the rules, why should I pay attention to the rules? But now knowing that if she was a step parent rather than a parent, I might look at that scene a little bit differently. Like that type of treatment from a parent might seem more normal because you're more comfortable with that child. Is like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it seems like it would be more human. But her scenes, the scene where she's trying to steal the book from that was fantastic.
They did a good job of using Nori's scenes as tasteful comic relief.
And the speech that Burroughs gives is great.
Oh, yeah.
I loved
just
it.
Remembered that.
Like I said, it's really funny that we criticize all these actors for just being horrible at promoting their movie and being extremely divisive, but then I'm enjoying the work they're doing, which is very, very hard to...
They're working against themselves. They're sabotaging Rings of Power with the way they are promoting it and the marketing.
That's for sure. Did you see that commercial where like the camera zooms past each character and they're like, "This is what it's like to be high on edibles at the mall." Walking through, just people's faces keep. I gotta say, elves they're doing the elves wrong. They're making them not have emotion. They're like, don't overdo it. The director's probably like, don't overdo it. So the elves are all talking like this, but they don't actually feel anything.
I don't think the elves have traditionally acted that way.
Also, there's a rumor, or people are saying that Halbrand becomes Sauron.
Halbrand does.
They're saying that he becomes Sauron later.
I gotta make a mildly, possibly even a hot take about Lord of the Rings in general. The first 3 movies, I thought they were like good, maybe great, but they were a lot of talking like this.
See, I love that,
and a lot of slow motion people riding.
I love it.
It was just cheesy.
They did that.
Wait, that's the slow motion horseback riding scene in this episode. I almost puked.
Yeah,
like
I rolled my eyes so hard I got a migraine.
When they zoomed in on Galadriel's face while she's like, in the wind, I was just like, she looks terrible.
That was the most realistic she's looked because she looked like she was in pain, and given how her character always looks kind of vaguely annoyed and angry, her looking happy looked like it actually made her hurt to be happy.
She didn't look vaguely annoyed and angry. She's just annoyed and angry.
We're gonna find out Brett dated this chick.
She had to do therapy for this role, she said, because she was because of past trauma, she was like flinching when people would come at her.
So you can say it was because of past traumas?
No. She said that she's always played roles where she's been traumatized. But she said in this, it's against your instinct to not flinch when a bunch of fully grown men attack you.
Yeah, if she's played roles where she's been traumatized, then she's been traumatized, is my point, by something in the past, which happened to be acting roles, apparently.
Okay.
And so she's suppressing that, and you can tell that she's not letting herself feel anything or feel as a result, because she doesn't want to flinch. She doesn't want to feel, and it's just depressing the character.
I think any failure to emote that you're pointing out is a failed attempt on the actress's part to convey nobility.
It could be that. I mean, it could be. I would even put this at the writer's feet for writing her this way, and I don't like it. I feel like that makes sense when you're in country and you're living a life of nobility and royalty, not somebody who's clearly on a mission to accomplish something that strikes to the core of her being.
Yeah.
And there's an argument to be made that she's closed herself off because it's what allows her to continue on her journey. I just personally, with this character, do not.
Yeah,
like
they could have made her like Siddhartha, which was the Buddha. He became the Buddha. Like, she becomes this stoic character. Instead of making her stoic from the beginning, they should have made her like a rough and tumble, like idiot youth. And then you see her progression over the show. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, they did show her in the very first scene of the pilot as a child when she was free-spirited and happy. And then that's to show the contrast of after war, what that did to her and the loss of her brother. And now she's kind of portrayed in the stage of anger in her grief.
Perhaps their mistake there then was to not spend more time before the death of her brother and not rush through it, so that it doesn't feel like it happened all of a sudden, and then you're just left with this character that's behaving that way. So
But the whole point is that she has more of a sense of urgency to find out where Sauron is.
I'd also like to point out that this episode felt faster paced, even though I do feel that it's still meandering. The pacing felt faster than the previous two.
I disagree, especially like the slow-mo scene.
That was horrible.
The scene where the orcs offer Arendir the water ration and they're like slowly passing it around. It was just
It felt like when they cut the scenes,
paced.
they were actually doing stuff rather than in the previous episode where it was more just set up and talking. I didn't
like the dialogue between Galadriel and what's his name, Elendil.
I didn't. I liked him.
They need less elf on elf.
Why did he mention his son and daughter, and then she just completely ignored that he mentioned them?
There was something she said that really
I can run faster than any of your offspring or something. I don't know exactly what she said back, but he mentioned his son and daughter and you remind me of them.
Oh yeah, like my son runs blindly.
But it does sound like he's artificially trying to ingratiate himself to her.
I liked it.
To convince her not to try to escape. Also,
the scene where Halbrand broke the dude's arm against the wall was freaking great.
Oh, I loved that. Yeah. That fight scene was cool.
Yeah. So I don't hate it. I still think that they've handicapped themselves extremely by making it a Lord of the Rings property and not just making something different and giving these characters different names. Either go all in and make it a retelling of an actual Tolkien work and not in obscure appendices.
They obviously have money to throw around. But just seeing its failures in casting and in like the CGI, for instance, it's such simple errors that they definitely have the funds to fix.
Also, I want to
point out, but they're lazily leaving them in.
The lady who plays Nori, she looks like. Do you know who Polly Perrette is? She played Abby on NCIS. She's like. She looks like a 30 years younger version of that actress. It was like very jarring to me. But you're right. There's absolutely like a weird sense of like easily fixed mistakes. There was another funny spot of like there was really decent CGI while they're on the boat, and then there's like one shot where the water just looked horrible, and that's the stuff.
You're even more perceptive to that than I am, and I'm still noticing it.
And that stuff tends to bother me more than it should. If I'm in the mode of reviewing, if I'm just watching something, I can let that slide. But when we're reviewing it, I'm like, gotta write it down. That was stupid. Why did they do that? They could have fixed that.
Yeah.
What would you rate it?
This episode, 4
out of 10.
Yeah. maybe 3.
Is that just in general in the world or relative to the other episodes?
Oh, it's worse than episodes 1 and 2.
I think it's better than episode 2, but not as decent as episode 1.
What would you rate episode 1?
I'm going to give it an overall score so far that it hasn't moved my needle very much further. I'm still sitting at, like, what did I give it before? Like a 5?
The premiere episodes we gave all like a 5 or a 6.
I would say I would leave mine in the same area.
There.
I will say that her scene, Galadriel and Hal, like at the end, I liked her in that.
Dude, Galadriel was the most boring character in Lord of the Rings. She come in and talk like this, or to be just her thoughts
Perhaps
in her face, her boring ass face.
Maybe
You're
it's
like,
the this could be my bias against the actress. Maybe if this exact same role was being portrayed by a different actress that I felt embodied that character better. Because one thing this show does suffer from is none of the actors have the gravitas of the film stars that were in the movies. So
Elijah Wood, dude.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching a lot of fan fiction, like people who are like even what's his name? What is I was
Elendil
looks like discount Viggo Mortensen. He really does.
Interesting. They don't have emotions in their eyes. The elves, they're missing it. Orlando Bloom knew how to feel. Yeah. Even though he was an elf, you could tell he had like buried emotions. These guys are just like static. They look like
Lenny Henry as Sadak Burrows actually does convey a decent amount of emotion. Does a really good job.
Which character is he?
He's Sadak Burrows.
I gotta look it up.
I agree with you about it feeling like fan fiction, especially with the so-called Easter eggs that they're
don't do the Easter eggs.
Like they included Elendil and his son Isildur because they're distant ancestors of Aragorn. Like, that just feels so shoehorned in.
It's like when they had Anakin Skywalker build C-3PO.
How much of this is sourced from Tolkien's writing?
What's word? Like, did you see, like, what did they do in like the Han Solo movie where they they explain where he got the? It's horrible.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's bad. So like they don't need to do that stuff. You don't need to explain everything with Easter eggs. It's not necessary.
And they were related the whole time. And then at the end, they wake up and it was all a dream. Like, come on, guys. It's stupid tropes.
I would leave my rating at a 5 for this show. I will say that I'm not pausing it very much, and I'm making it through the episode, which is that's actually high praise from me. But they immediately lose those points back by making it a Lord of the Rings property when it doesn't need to be a Lord of the Rings property. So it
needs to be, though, so they can get more money.
So they can get more money, exactly.
Did they buy is that what it is? Is Amazon bought the IP?
Yeah.
They bought
$250 million
for the just
for
the family.
the rights to this, to make this show.
Oh, they don't own it. They just own the rights.
They spent $1 billion to make it,
and 250 of it was to buy the rights.
What went to the family of Tolkien?
Technically, not a whole billion, but
close.
Next season, they've already spent money on the next season.
There you go.
Then it's $1 billion.
$50 million an episode.
Are they gonna make the money for this? I doubt it.
I mean, how do you even judge that? By new subscriptions?
We're gonna see a drop in viewership from episode 2 to 3.
That's what happened to
majorly, I bet.
House of the Dragon fell sharply in episode 3.
Was it good?
It did.
I heard that was the best episode.
That's what I've heard as well. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen episode 3.
I haven't watched that either.
But that's
I'm gonna watch it.
I might binge it if it turns out good, but I can't be the whole like I'm waiting for the next piece of crap they're gonna shove in my mouth. I can't wait. You know, I'm like,
I love that. I love when it's like week to week and you're just dying for it.
If it's amazing, but I feel like a slave when I'm in that state. When I'm like, you know what's great in reality? The next TV show next week. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Look around at your friends and like make a TV show. Do something. You know.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having something that you really enjoy, but that's it is weird. It is funny how like with the expansion of streaming services and the amount of money that's being spent on these properties, we are no longer getting as many shows binge delivered. Netflix is one of the ones that's still delivering you episodes all at once.
Peaky Blinders.
I believe Sandman is coming out weekly, but in general they're coming out weekly because they understand that if you drop all 8 or 10 episodes at once, all the buzz is gone.
And they'll subscribe for a month. They'll watch all of them, and then
That's why Netflix, they broke up Stranger Things season 2 or the most recent season into 2 parts to keep people subscribed.
No, they've been doing that since Mad Men. Now they add like 2 more episodes to the whole season, quote unquote, and then they do like 6 episodes half the season, 6 episodes the other half.
Keeps you subscribed.
Hate that.
Do you want to talk about Kanye West having the weirdest person in the entire world to give him his epiphany?
Sure. So the passing of the Queen has made Kanye West come to enlightenment. He wants to squash all of his beefs.
Because of the Queen of England.
With Adidas, with Gap, with Pete Davidson, with Kim.
It's such a weird person to...
He said, life is precious. Releasing all grudges today, leaning into the light. Best wishes and blessings to Pete, Kid Cudi, Daniel Cherry, and he also photoshopped the Queen with a pair of Yeezy shades in the since deleted Instagram post.
You know he's gonna be clowning on Pete next week.
That's what I'm saying. It will not. I doubt it will last.
I also saw that Pete Davidson's reps say that he just hopes that Ye will stop stoking the flame of gossip and stop attacking Kim, and he just wanted to let Kim know that he's always here if she needs a shoulder to cry on, or if he'll take him back.
Oh, does Yeezy want her back?
Oh, Kanye wants back with Kim.
Yeah, but really? Pete was saying that he's always here if Kim is in need of a shoulder to cry on as Kanye's attacks continue online.
I need to give you guys an update. Apparently, it was 25 crisis parties for Hannah Claire to watch all the Fast and the Furious movies.
It was not.
Did we hit it?
We did not.
Fake news.
Well, we better hit it.
It was 20.
We're very close.
Where are we at?
It was 20, I swear.
We got to be at like 2350 or something.
We're at 21.
21?
21. So apparently I was wrong. I was wrong.
The Cabra could date us.
Is that Hannah Claire giving you propaganda?
This is rewriting history. I remember that it was 20.
Yeah, check the tapes.
It might have been 25. I've only heard it.
I know someone clipped it. Come on.
So I guess I wouldn't be able to confirm. So apparently,
the build up to making her watch it is almost as pleasurable as watching her watch it.
So apparently, I'm the only one who's coming out on this one with a job.
I guess this is just a big fat L for Brett.
Well, it's not over yet.
That's true. We're not done yet. I don't know if anybody. How does she prove it? She should be forced to. She was like forced to like
check the tapes. I'm telling you, I don't believe it.
So I mean, it's just really funny. Out of all things, you'd think like Kanye would be like, I looked into my child's eyes today and I saw all the beauty in the world, and I've decided to squash the beef with all the people that I've developed problems with. But instead, he's like, yo, Queen of England, time to.
That's some collective consciousness stuff going on.
A bit. So, should we do the hilarious ending with Cher?
Yes. I think we've got one of the best womp womp stories that we've had in a while. Cher accidentally called the Queen a cow instead of a goat.
What?
Now, I don't know why she thought it was appropriate to call the Queen the goat.
In like a goodbye message? In memoriam?
An R.I.P. message? But at least she had good intentions, right?
Apparently.
The message read, am sad about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. I had honor of meeting her. I was in long line of people waiting to meet her. Yet, when she got to me, she asked me pertinent questions and seemed genuinely interested in talking to me. I'm proud she was a cow emoji and happy she had a great sense of humor. This is just boomer tech beyond all. Like, I cannot believe that Cher runs her own Twitter.
Bro, what the hell was that?
That was a lot of money.
Because the way it would have read is, I'm proud she was a greatest of all time and happy she had a great sense of humor. Like if she had used the goat. Goat means greatest of all time.
It's kind of cute that she doesn't know how emojis work.
There's some really incriminating evidence against Hannah Claire on chat. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I don't think they're going to let it drop.
Basically.
It's like the beginning of something great. Keep tugging on that thread.
Some guy called Bobcat, which is basically the New York Times, says Hannah Claire agreed to 10, then changes to 15.
Wait.
That's very
then I called her. Then Bobcat, the great Bobcat, called her out on it, and then 20. She doesn't get to change it again since it was my challenge.
Oh,
wow!
Wait a second.
Wow!
I was out of town when all of these agreements were being made, so I can't fact check it. But We need to be able to trust you guys.
Shame, Hannah Claire.
I specifically remember it being 20.
If somebody can point to me to what episode this was in so we can go back and check the replay.
Timestamps. Let's do this.
We might need to.
It's all here. It's all been recorded.
Listen, if you can't trust a stranger on the internet called Bobcat, like, what are we as a nation, frankly?
Right? Like, what has happened to us?
Yeah, that's why social media is
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Hey. Yes.
How about we start reading super chats or else we'll never get through them?
Let's go.
Greg Duvier said, I might be behind actually. When did we stop?
Did he say that?
No.
Yeah, spit that shit. Let's do it. Hit me with them dollar bills,
I don't know where we. I think did we do Buck from Grofty?
Yes.
Here we come.
We did.
Mary, we need a video of the bleaching, please. We read that one. Okay, after Caper 2X is when we stopped. Yeah.
Okay, so it's you got that?
No.
I got it. Okay, Regatan says, I found a new manga that I enjoy. It's called Turns Out My Doc Was a Cute Girl. It's about a guy whose doc detached and became a cute small girl. I don't know. Those manga's crazy. Oh. So
the way I would have immediately skipped that message, but you read it.
Like a doc, like a boat doc?
Yeah, cool. I'm assuming. I couldn't pronounce this name. You had to pronounce this one before, but I couldn't. IHQ Princess
J96.
King Olus with the super hot fire meme. I think King Olus was the one who gave us who sent us over 15 and ill-fated me to my future of blonde hair.
I blame them all. They were all part of it.
They
all
were
involved.
Dragon Stallion 1001 said, for Brett's Brazilian wax, LMAO 20 crisis parties, here we come.
Yep.
That's a vlog. Waiting to happen.
Johnny
Have
Dirt.
you had a Brazilian wax?
No.
before?
I
The
saw
way you
Steve
asked-
Carell got waxed on for a 40-year-old virgin. Did you see that?
No.
That was real. They really waxed his
Oh, that
chest
was
for the
horrible.
movie, and he
Wow.
was like, ah! He was in real pain.
Well, when you asked Brett, it was as if you had experience with Brazilian waxes.
Yeah, I was gonna
like,
go
what are
down
you
that road.
talking about?
No, I was visualizing it too.
Johnny Dirt for $2 says, just take the L like a man, Brett. I have done so.
With clown emoji.
I have resigned myself to my fate. I don't know when we're gonna get this done because it's about to be the weekend, but it will be by next week. We will do this
By Monday.
Powerful.
I don't know about
By
that.
Monday.
I don't know about that.
Incredible.
Rachel Elizabeth for $10 says, excited to be part of Brett's transition journey. Mm-hmm. Love you and your perspective, Ian.
Oh, love you too, man. Who was that? That was awesome.
That was Rachel Elizabeth.
What's up, Rachel? Nice, thanks.
Greg Duvier says, Ian, where's my cooking show?
Where you got to make it. You got to set up a camera, get a nice microphone and a nice knife. No, you want me to do a cooking show. I think that's what you mean.
Yep.
We're doing a lot of shows. You know, it's just a matter of time, but I think it would be something cool to do.
Matt
Let's make crepes.
Matt for $5 says, I still like the idea of Hannah Claire watching Fast and the Furious movies while Mary bleaches Brett's hair.
It needs to go in the vlog, guys.
Oodles McNoodles says, Brett, you're a Minnesota Wild fan? Gross. I was a Minnesota North Stars fan, and I wear a Minnesota Wild hat because I grew up in Minnesota and I played hockey, but I don't follow intensely closely anymore. Yesh for $1.99 says Tokyo Drift was legit, Dane.
It was.
Dragon's Talon 1001 for $10 says, next time Taylor is on, you need to get her to make a super chat wager. Oh, like she has to have her own version of Hannah Claire. And, yeah.
Funnily enough, I haven't committed to anything.
Funny how that works.
What's your commitment?
I don't know. Maybe
She's gonna get like 9,000 crisis parties. I'll do this.
Okay, maybe at 30.
Fasting?
I
like
will.
a week of fasting.
Whoa.
Powerful.
Maybe I'll make my hair pink.
Let them tell us. What does Mary do at 30?
Oh God, no.
They're gonna come up with something awful.
Yes, fair point. Make punk rock great again for. Oh wait, I missed one. I'm gonna go back up. We had a couple there. Josh Shull for $1 with no message. Thank you. Grofty for $5 says, I read the script. 20 at 200 is near the end. 20 at 200 is near the end.
Oh yeah, because Pop Culture Crisis is scripted.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what's going on.
Do they not know?
I don't know how you got access to that script though.
We're gonna have to check. We're gonna have to check.
Got an
into that.
OPSEC
Probably
issue.
Chris.
Make punk rock great again for $9.99 says, been a while. Good to see y'all are still growing and doing well. I'm still bouncing back from my ban. What's up, Ian? You're my favorite on IRL. If y'all like punk rock, stop on by. Have a good day.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Who was that again?
Make punk rock great again.
Oh yeah. Well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
it.
Dragon's Talon 1001 for $50 says, for the popcorn supply Hannah Claire is going to need for the Fast and the Furious Film Festival. Well, that is currently in review right
Film
now.
Festival. Alberto.
Chippers?
I trust Bobcat. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that one? Or
no, actually.
Okay. He says, for $9.99, says, I only ever watched Friday Night Tights to get away from politics, but started watching after Brett came in IRL. Keep it up, guys. Also, a shout out to Emo Ghost Cath Girl. Hail.
Guys,
Hi.
at 30, Mary puts the card back.
No.
That is incredible.
We have to video her like going. She goes and picks up all the loose carts in a parking lot.
Wow.
I'm not doing that.
Not
be a good video.
30 crisis parties for one cart getting pushed back is not fair. You have to
you
pick up all the loose ones.
pay for
in
your
the parking
sins.
lot.
I mean, the funny thing about that is it has no permanent
No, it
consequence.
doesn't. It does
Everyone
not.
else's does.
I mean, I can cut mine off right
I
away.
think fasting's good. Maybe a week's too much, but like a 24-hour fast.
I do that all the time.
Oh, cool.
Greg Duvier for $2 says, here comes Hannah to pull the plug on the stream. Well, she has found a way to do that from beyond
I wonder if she's in the chat.
the stream.
Okay, I'm caught up now.
All right.
Matt said, remember, if society falls, just deliver the mail. What does that mean?
Society is already...
That's
Kevin Costner
video game
movie.
reference.
The Postman.
No,
Oh.
Hideo Kojima's last game. I forgot the name. Sorry.
Caper2X said, run, Hannah Claire, run.
Apparently.
Shards of
To the
Narsil
theater.
said, Dane, Healing Wind was so useful.
It was. That, by the way, that's a Final Fantasy
Yeah, she's
7.
amazing. That character was great. That was rough. I kept going back to the spot where she died, expecting to resurrect her or something. And
Oh, dude, I did
it
all.
just made me pay every time I'd look through the water and be like, "Why, God?"
I did all the because there was a bunch of rumors that you could revive her
Yeah.
from all the fans
But it was like
coping.
pre-internet when I was playing. It was like 99.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you couldn't really look it up. I didn't know. It was just rumors.
There was an article about it in Game
There was
Informer.
internet, obviously.
Man, what has fallen farther than Game Informer?
I don't know.
Zach
Absolutely nothing.
Zach I Nen said, congrats on 200. My favorite episode is Shane asking Mary if she had a candle and her yelling, I'm Catholic.
What?
But, like, it couldn't have just been, do you have a candle? There must have been something else about the candle.
No, I like, you know how there's like Timcast IRL out of context? There will eventually have to be Pop Culture Crisis out of context.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there are so many opportunities for
I
it.
know, right?
High Voltage 75 said, Money Machine go burr. Congrats on 200, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Hobbit said, love you, Hannah.
I don't know who Hannah is. I know a Hannah
Who
Claire.
is that?
Hannah Claire.
I know a Hannah
Can't
Claire.
stand you fake
I don't
fans who don't even know her name.
Damn.
Grofty said, like I said, I read the script. Buck.
Buck, buck, buck.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, not only is IRL scripted, but Pop Culture Crisis is scripted.
We have an AI
writing our show.
script.
It's like AI. It's like we did a whole segment the other day on AI art and AI rappers, and we had an AI program write the segment about AI art and AI rappers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, AI art is nuts. You can just say, show me tall guy with a long chain and a umbrella and steampunk environment in the sky, and it'll be like the most epic.
We're at 23. We're like actually
We're
close to
actually
25.
gonna get 25.
Like,
so
I might
even
do
if,
it myself.
Even if 25 was a lie, we're gonna make it there.
I
Hannah Claire.
might do it myself if we get to the end and it's not there, just so that Hannah Claire has to suffer with me.
But does it have to be in before 5 o'clock?
No, it
'Cause
has to be in before the
No.
show is over.
Okay, Waffle Sensei, God of Chat Room, said 20. Sorry, not sorry, Hannah Claire. Happy film watching. Mwahahaha.
I mean, they're pretty. She's pretty adamant that it's 25.
All right, well,
So-
we're gonna get to 25 anyways.
I don't know.
Because of people like Matt.
Yesh said ejecto cito. Cuz.
That's from
Where is that from?
That's from Too Fast, Too Furious, and it's one of the funniest things.
Oh.
It's maybe the funniest thing Tyrese Gibson has ever said in his entire life.
What did he say?
Ejectocito, cuz.
Okay.
Halls
You had to
in
be
the
there,
Kid
okay?
said,
I saw it.
Halls in the Kid said, Hannah Claire says it was 25 for her to watch all Fast and Furious.
Of course,
Maybe
she would
it
say
was
that.
20 for her to watch the first one only.
This is just propaganda. Like,
This is. It
Yeah, I don't
is.
want to pile on because I don't know.
They are rewriting history.
I'm taking this
It is
very
not okay.
seriously.
Hobbit.
Yeah, we need an investigation.
We need a committee
Look at this
dedicated to researching this.
Trudy.
Hey, 25.
Oh my god.
Well, you're doing it
25,
anyway.
baby.
Did someone say?
Let's go.
Good movies.
See, Brett isn't the only one who has to meet his wager.
Bro, we're getting the Macarena and the shopping cart. I'm feeling it.
Hobbit said, how do we make Mary suffer at Crisis Party 25 or 30? We gotta be magnanimous and share the pain. Be careful what you say. War never changes.
Thank you,
Thank
guys,
you,
so
guys.
much. Thank you. I like it. 30 crisis parties, you have to pick up all the loose ones in a parking lot. And it has to be a Walmart. Because there's actually loose ones at Walmart. Target, they actually put them in the cart corral.
I am not picking up all of them.
Partnership with Walmart Plus, incredible.
That'd be good. It's like
I'm
a
not
good deed.
committing to that one.
That is, come on, man.
Helps
If
a
I
lot of
Mary.
people.
What?
One
Everyone
time,
else got to even come up with their
He's
own
bleaching
wager.
his
I
hair.
didn't come up with mine. Somebody
Yeah,
else came up with it, and I
Hannah Claire
stupidly
did.
agreed.
There's a dude bagging groceries at Walmart. It's 17 years old, and you're gonna make his life a lot easier
for
day.
one day.
Aw.
For
No,
one day.
I'm not doing it.
He doesn't even know it's gonna happen.
I am morally opposed to it. Matt said Hobbs and Shaw also.
Yep.
Hannah
I
Claire
saw that.
also needs to take a stance on Rock or Diesel after watching the series.
Ooh.
Oh my God! Like we have to get. It's not like we asked.
We're
her to
gonna do a
review them.
review.
Oh my God,
Oh, like who's better?
dude!
Did,
maybe
so
the-
Rock took over Diesel's
well-
characterization-ish thing.
No, he like they had him in
Diesel's
the
on
movies.
the newest one.
Yeah. No, what happened was the Rock was in like some of the middle ones, and then they have like egos. So the Rock goes and does Hobbs and Shaw now because him and Vin Diesel have their problems together. Yeah.
You can't beat family.
No, family.
Bad App said matching lip tattoos at 25. We reached 25 since you sent that, so we have to come up with a new number. Sorry.
25.
But I am open to a lip tattoo because it's the one tattoo that doesn't show.
That's crazy.
Oh, inner lip.
Yeah. And it goes away eventually.
You and Brett?
Yeah, we could do
Matching
that.
lip
I don't know what it
tattoos.
would be.
I'm getting no tattoos.
We're subjecting
Even
Brett
one
to torture.
inside your lip
Nope.
that no one would ever know.
Nope. I am punk rock in my lack of
Ugh.
tattoos.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
I got 3.
Oh, nice.
Darth Doza says, Mary, you're awesome. Cannot be quantified by a rational number. Who you are, just as you are, gives hope that the future is not lost. May peace and grace be with you throughout all of your many future days.
Unless you're putting carts
Thank
away,
you.
apparently.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was like the nicest thing. Like
For real.
that was like such a super
ever
nice
heard.
thing. Like
Bless.
you
Yeah.
like, take a picture of that and
Like,
be
hope
like,
for humanity?
like
Jeez.
you're having a bad day one day and you just pulled it up in your phone.
I
you're
am
like,
someones hope for the future.
It's amazing.
Yikes.
More
It's a
than
lot
one
of
person.
pressure.
No, I was just saying no pressure, guys.
Yeah, like, wow.
Like when Tim's like, this show's gonna be pop culture crisis will be bigger than IRL in a couple years. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thanks
a
for
lot.
thanks for putting that out there into the world.
Johnny Derp said, read all chats, $2 hostage party incoming.
Dude,
that-
We're
So
beyond
far behind.
hostage party. Thomas B said, first super chat, Ian, when I started watching IRL, I didn't like you, but as time went on, you've become my favorite guest. Keep up the great work.
Well, thank you. Is acquired flavor.
Technically, you're not a guest; you're a host.
You're like
Technically,
sushi.
I'm a host. Yeah, technically.
Also, today I want to
I am
point
like
out that
sushi.
for some reason I called Ian the main guest today.
That's a badass
That was
title.
so rude.
I know.
I was like, okay.
The main
I
guest.
don't know why.
Is this going to turn into a therapy
I don't know
session?
why I said
100%
that.
I'll
I'm so
take it.
sorry.
If at 35, me and Brett get couples therapy. We just do.
I said that, and even as I get done, I'm like, why did I say that?
It's because
It's how you really feel.
The main guest.
Damn.
Are you on more frequently than Fridays? Like I saw you a couple
he's
weeks
always
ago.
on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
He's our
Been
like,
here for a while.
Yeah,
he treats me
yeah.
like this.
So you're
but
the
no,
side
it's
guest.
because
Could you imagine that?
it's because
harsh.
he like we
We originally planned to have just Ian, but then Dane joined us to make the episode extra special.
Which it
so
is.
really, Dane is special today.
I love Dane shows, by the way. They're the best.
Thank you.
They're my favorites because we can talk about Final Fantasy. Every
there
time
we
we
go.
can bring some games in, I feel like we're really pop culturing it. Really popping it.
Yep.
Michael said, Ian, check out Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Pretty old strategy game that I think you'd appreciate and get tons of time playing.
I saw it, that super chat. I played it, and I love it. That is a great game.
By the way, people keep challenging me to Yu-Gi-Oh! Run it.
I used to play King's Bounty back in the day on the Sega Genesis. I'm a huge fan of those turn-based.
Yeah.
Dane was like
games.
the Bobby Fischer of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Really?
Hear.
Yep.
Your master.
Yeah.
I don't know who Bobby Fischer is.
You don't?
Chess
Oh,
master.
he was he was a child prodigy of chess.
I was pretty good.
He lost his mind.
I was pretty good.
Did you like dominate your friend group?
Man, I was like a legendary like 2nd or 9th place.
So you would like aggro people, and they'd be like either kill them immediately or you're gonna maybe win.
No, I was like control, always like slow strategies. But there was this pair of twins that I could just not beat.
2 people, 2 humans.
That's
Yeah,
so funny.
there were
They're
chess
like your version of the Winklevoss
swear to God.
twins.
Yeah. No, they were like Puerto Rican chess champions, and
wow.
I just
That's
could not
hilarious.
beat them.
Snap.
1,000 Foot Deep End said R.I.P. Taco Bell double decker tacos.
Absolutely. Bring
good.
them back. What is it with Taco Bell and like getting rid of stuff that's awesome? Why would you do
Yum
that?
Foods. They bought
Dude, double
Pizza
deckers.
Hut at one point, and things started to change a little. Taco Bell was really, really, really special back in the day. I mean, I don't know if it was
They
ever
bought
really
Pizza
good
Hut.
for
My
you. but-
favorite
No
thing
way.
is also, have you
Yeah, I
ever
think
seen
so.
the businesses that buy old Taco Bells that have the old roof on it? The weird,
Oh
like,
yeah, the
Yeah.
rustic.
and there's like people,
style
there's like
roof.
businesses that buy them. There's places that buy what were clearly Taco Bells and clearly Pizza Huts, and they just put random businesses there, and it always makes me
It's
giggle.
funny. Bobcat said never challenged the chat. Can't wait to hear Hannah Claire's review of her new favorite cinematic universe on Monday.
Oh,
She only has a weekend to do all the movies? That's
that is-
impossible.
No. What I think is gonna be funny is what we'll do is we'll give her a little bit of time, and we will do a whole episode reviewing.
Is she going to have a deadline?
We'll
Wait, this means I have to watch all of the movies too. If I have to review it.
Dude, I gotta just say,
You're
Darth.
cursing me with the same face.
This Mike, I'm gonna say Darth Doza just super chatted Shining Force 2, best turn-based RPG on Genesis. I was just thinking about Shining Force 2 last
Thank
night.
you, guys.
I was thinking about Odd Eye.
Never played it.
It's Odd Eye is what he becomes, but Oddler is his name. I'm like, I want to look at some gameplay of Oddler to make sure it was called Oddler.
Yeah.
Oh, that game's awesome.
Yeah.
Those Shining Force games were really incredible, really, with secrets and secret characters and stuff. Replayability because of the secret characters you wouldn't find on the first run.
Do modern video games struggle with replay factor? Like they're not as good.
I wonder. Yeah,
Yeah.
Frostpunk is. I just got it, and I love this game, but it's the same every time.
They make them short because they want to sell additional features for DLC.
Yeah. Yep. Mary.
Johnny Derp said lizard DNA and adrenochrome will get you to 96. Now let's be charitable. She doesn't have the chance to defend herself
That is true.
anymore.
Okay.
Grofty came after that one, but I just lost it.
Grofty says Hannah Claire freaking out on Cast Castle.
Not a new thing.
Rabid Tribble for $5 says, how many parties for Ian to go blonde and cosplay as an elf?
There are not enough parties in the world for that. I will maybe go as an
Whoa.
elf, though. That's pretty cool.
Hobbit said, okay, kick Ian off the show for that Lord of the Rings hot take.
What
Yeah.
was it? What was your hot take?
Then I just didn't think it was that good. I thought it was like
About the
good
way they
acting. There were
talk?
great actors. A lot of talking like this.
I understand
and
that.
slow motion moving and like it was cool. It was
But,
good.
like-
Viggo Mortensen's a superstar. You know,
Yeah.
Elijah Wood's one of the most incredible actors on earth. Sean Astin,
saying,
Ian
like,
McKellen. I mean,
the
it was just
books
phenomenal
are also
acting.
slow moving.
Yeah, I couldn't
so
finish the Two
I
Towers.
understand why the movies would also be that way.
And that's what I'm saying. The movies had a gravitas because the actors portraying the characters had such resonance with you because they were such talented actors with name recognition already at that time.
Yeah.
So having younger actors with, I looked up a lot of them. They don't have a lot of credits to their name. The older ones do, but the younger ones portraying younger characters just don't have a lot
None
of work
of them
under their belt.
are even close to household recognizable
I think
names.
Viggo was not household at that moment. I don't know what he had done before that. I'd never heard of him before. That
He's
movie.
also survived becoming a meme.
Oh, In what way?
One Does Not Simply.
He is
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. Man, he is good.
Yeah.
He was
But
like
that's
the
a
heartbeat
legend,
of that movie.
throwback.
When you
Yeah.
look at the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, it's Viggo having fun on set and like playing tricks on people and joke because he's so serious. You know, his character is so demandingly serious that he's so lighthearted as a human.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
Got more? Or are you
There are way more that I missed.
Johnny Derp says elves of color made off with my planter Gandalf. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Gandalf the White, probably. Gandalf the White. Caper2X says Ian for your president bit in Cast Castle. Did you guys seek inspiration in the 2020 elections? It was funny as heck, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh,
Kudos.
thank you. Yeah, check out Cast Castle if you guys haven't seen it yet. We're doing there's a hilarious show arc right now about the Union at Timcast and the usurpation of the Union, or at least the attempted overthrow, or just democratic voting out of Chris as Union president. Let's make it happen.
Grofty says to be continued for $2, and then Hobbit for $2 says 25 is fake news, Hannah. And I don't know who Hannah is, but I know who Hannah Claire is.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
now,
matter
does it?
anymore.
Okay, I've caught up on the super chats. I'm sorry. Dragon's Talon 1001 said Hannah said 20.
Anna Claire said 20.
Yeah. Valhalla Inverts said they can only cover certain events covered in the appendix of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. The Silmarillion's rights won't be released until at least 2043, since it's covered until 70 years after Tolkien's death. Well, I guess we have more Lord of the Rings
Middle-aged, like old
derivative
and
spin-off
middle-aged
shows to wait for our whole lives.
I will be old and you will be middle-aged by then, and we will be sitting here like,
I'll watch it with my kids.
Welcome to episode
Remember the good old
9000
days
of Pop Culture Crisis.
Yeah. A Bobcat said, oh, yeah, this is the one that Dane read, basically that she originally agreed to 10.
Well,
Not sure if that's true, but that's the word on the street.
Yep.
Johnny Derp said she called QE2 a heifer, not a cow. Oh, Queen Elizabeth II. A heifer.
Wow.
I don't know.
So now he's calling her fat.
That's just fake news. I think she had good
Well,
intent.
term of
I
endearment?
would assume that the that might be right, because the I called it a steer, but I just like
A steer.
It didn't look like a cow. A cow, when you picture a cow, you picture white with black, and that feels like that's what the emoji would be. They didn't use that emoji.
Interesting. Bad Ab said Bobcat is the goat.
Bobcat is the goat.
Bobcat is definitely the goat.
Michael Williams said, just here to show some love for Ian. You're literally my favorite part of IRL. Everyone, check out Jamie Kilstein's wiki feed.
Oh, what?
Snap.
I didn't know that existed.
That took me off course.
I didn't know where that was
Thanks
going.
for that one.
Yikes. Sir
I'll check it
Rank
out.
Zero Productions said, woo 22 crisis parties. Congrats PCC number 200. GG Brett.
Yes, I have lost this battle.
GG.
I should have made my number much higher.
Good luck. Have fun.
Unknown says Mary puts cart back at 30.
Someday we may get there.
I hope so.
I
Just
don't
for the
think
moral
so.
growth.
Yeah.
Matt said, the thing is, I could agree to that as my wager, but there would be no way to be held accountable.
I will
for
make
it.
sure it happens.
You could agree to it and then not do it and go even more.
I
No,
could
we,
just
you need
lie.
witnesses.
The funniest part would be is if you do it and you get this suddenly like really good feeling and you really like it. You're like, why haven't I been doing this? And you learn something new.
Mary
about
the
yourself.
White.
Feeling good about doing something good.
Yeah, she's like, what is this
I
strange
don't
feeling?
I don't like it.
And then they do the thing where you're like, your face starts to smile like you've never done it.
No.
before.
I just start melting, and I melt into a puddle, and
melting.
you'll never see me again. Matt said Coyote Ugly and Heat, $4.99 each one on Vudu.
Luckily,
But they have
both.
ads, don't they?
Yeah, luckily I have both, and maybe I'll watch to deal with the fact that I'm about to have blonde hair for a period of time. I might have to watch both of those movies as comfort, as a way to comfort myself for my impending doom.
What's voodoo? I don't know.
It's like a video on demand service.
Oh.
Yeah. Dragon's Talon 1001 said, no pink hair, Mary. If you watch pink-haired TikTokers, you would understand why. Besides, you don't have the crazy eyes to pull it off.
Is that true? You don't have the crazy eyes to pull it off?
According to many, I do.
I thought.
And I've had pink hair before, so I guess it would be cheating. Like, that it's not my first time.
Look, the hair color thing, it's like they talk about like animals will portray glowing colors to like ward off, like convince people to stay back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what people
there
with
is
blue hair
a term for that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So a lot of people theorize that that's why people with red hair or with like blue hair and
I just did it because
hair.
I was an edgelord in high school.
Ooh.
Thomas B said, upset my chat wasn't read. I wanted to tell Ian I did not like him when I started watching IRL, but fell in love with his awesome ideas.
We
Keep
read
it
that.
real.
You read
Tommy
that.
B.
Yeah, I
Maybe
thought we'd been diligent about reading all of them, but I
Must have been a
apologize
pause.
if it's gotten lost because there are so many today.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Derp said, Brett, you agreed to bleach, no restriction against dyeing the blonde back to your natural color the next day. Lawyered? No. Just no.
There was no time limit on it. I was just gonna cut it off right after.
That
a
would
wig out of
that
it.
would mean you lack all integrity.
Wow.
I disagree.
It gets hot. It gets
fulfilling
cuts deep.
fulfilling
and
your
gets hot.
obligation.
That's
is what,
like if Hannah Claire watched Fast and the Furious, but it was on 2 times speed, and she was like reading a book at the same time as it's playing, and it's muted.
I disagree.
Mary makes good arguments.
I still
I mean,
disagree.
you make good arguments
I
too.
never
but
made.
Mary-
There was never a time limit given to how long I had to keep there. It was how it's like, will you dye your hair, not will you dye
But
your hair and keep it.
It's about the principle.
Well,
don't you think?
You like Galadriel, so what do you know?
You just hate blondes and everything related to blondes.
Oh, is that true?
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why you like
What-
Bronwyn better than Galadriel when Bronwyn is the girl boss.
What's that? That's an argumentative red herring where someone's telling you something and then you throw out like an unrelated thing to argue
You just-
the point. What is that? I think
Move the
an
goalpost.
argumentical
I am
side.
not subject to the laws of logic. Bad App said 23 parties and we go to Mission Impossible 3.
That's an inside joke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one. Matt sent $1 with no message.
Thank you, Matt.
you. True D. Jones said, someone say 25.
And that was the one that suggested. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Trudy
Thank you.
Jones.
All right, doubled the record today.
Yeah.
Legends.
Psyche said, here you go, Hannah Claire. Love the show, guys.
Thank you,
Clint Torres said, howdy, people.
Clint. Been a minute. How you doing, bud?
Clint.
Hey. Tino Villegas said, HC says, forget about it, cuz.
Dude, I read that as The Villages. It shows you how bad I am at this job.
I mean, I don't think that's how
Villages?
it's pronounced
I didn't-
either.
I mean, I'm not here to do perfect pronunciations, okay?
I'm
You're
not
right,
here
bro.
to talk about my pronunciation.
You do you.
I'm here
girl
to
boss.
kick some ass. Waffle Sensei, God of Chat Room, says, Mary, don't be a crisis party pooper. You literally won't do the bare necessity of kindness for $3,000? Not based, Ghost Girl. Not based. Rethink it.
I think putting back a couple of carts at a store is a
I
reasonable...
said I would put back my cart,
Do you
not
think-
anyone else's.
Do you think party pooper came from someone that like pooped their pants at a party, or someone that used someone's bathroom and like bombed it, and then they were like, "No, don't go in there. They're party pooping."
Probably
I
the
don't know.
second.
Yeah,
I hope the second.
yeah, it's pretty gross.
That seems like less creepy than I mean.
So don't party poop is basically that's. I get it.
But like crisis.
Yeah, like
party
go back to your place,
pooper.
poop,
Yeah.
come back to the party.
Clint said, Ian is like whiskey. It's an acquired taste. If you don't like him, acquire some taste.
Wow.
But not too much.
Incredible.
That's a high
It's all about the
compliment.
dosage.
Darth Doza said, Shining Force 2? Best.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, this is the
Shining
one you
Force.
read
Shining
earlier.
Force.
Game was incredible. As good as the first one, if
Shining?
not better.
Shining.
They said 2 N's in it.
Okay.
Oh, that
well,
would be Shinning. But it
Yeah.
is Shining Force.
You right, girl. You right.
Is shinning a word?
It is now.
Shin, like hitting something with your
That's a term in like
shin.
in skating. If you hit your shin like on a rail, that's called shinning a rail. That's why I thought it was funny.
Oh, okay. Tony Deadgrave said, what about the Legend of Dragoon?
Never played it.
Yeah, that's another Legend of Dragoon. Is that Shining Force 3? No, Legend of Dragoon. That was a
I think it's a separate series.
Squaresoft game. If it's a Squaresoft game, I know the game. I don't never played it. My buddy Steve had it.
Yvonne Ortiz said, America 99, England 96, older than sliced bread.
Yep.
Kernoth said, Mary's an old man's soul trapped in a Zoomer's body.
Hey, that's a good setup.
Huh, that's why I'm a ghost?
Maybe
Wow.
a time ghost. Are you the Zeitgeist?
Maybe.
That's German for time ghost.
False God Dark Soul says Mary's offered $3,000 to return a cart and says no. Technically, she said yes to returning her cart. I just felt that wasn't actually fair for the amount.
Well, if you guys want to come up with a new wager, then do it, and we'll see.
Wow, why are you so opposed to it? It's incredible.
I'm not returning other people's carts. You guys don't even do that.
I do that.
You return other people's carts
like
for
if
them.
they're left out, I'll grab them, yeah.
I have in the past. I used to work at a grocery store at Acme, and I would bag groceries and return carts. So then in years following, I would do it. But it's been a while.
These days, if you see a stray cart out there, you don't
go
run.
If it's in a parking spot, I'll move it for sure because it helps someone else, and it's very little effort for me.
I do it.
I don't. I push mine.
If it's somewhere where it looks like it could hurt somebody, I'll put it away.
Johnny Derp said, Mary has 0 grounds to lecture anyone on integrity. Know your role, cart girl.
This is so intense.
If it were about integrity, I would say, sure, I'll return carts, and then I'd lie.
This is so intense.
Yeah. I would lie about it.
Wow, Mary, great point.
And take the wager. Hobbit said, just have a 200th episode every week.
Yeah.
Easy.
Wouldn't that that'd be really funny. Every Friday you just change the episode number to 200.
We always just wear the same clothes.
Yeah. Hobbit. Wait, no. Bad App said, if you put your cart back at Aldi, you get 25 cents.
This is true.
Well, it's the same 25 cents you gave them.
That you put into it. So
we are finally through the super chats.
It has been one hell of
It's been a journey.
That was a great show.
Guys.
And also it's been it's 5:32 right now, so if you round up, it's been a 3-hour show. We've had a standing ovation or two.
Yeah, we were joking about like how Hollywood keeps talking about the standing ovations that they give movies at film festivals, and it's just a circle jerk all the way around. And they always it's always 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and you know for a fact they round up. They don't.
I always loved being the one guy that would stand up and clap if I thought it was really good, or just the one guy that would stay seating if I thought it was pretty good, but everyone else is standing. I'd just sit there. I mean, might still clap, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm different. I'm myself.
Got to be yourself, man. Guys, thank you again.
I need to read the other super chats. K42X said, Mary, do you want to volunteer for dunking tank?
We'll have to get a dunk tank.
I mean, that's a big deal to get a dunk tank here, but if it's here, I'll do it.
I will do that.
I think a lot of people will do it.
Yeah, I'll get dunked.
I mean, originally the idea was for Hannah Claire, but as long as you guys don't make me wear white.
I'll be like, no. I'll really protest it too right before it happens. I'll be one of those guys.
Perfect. There's another one there, Mary.
Clint said, cart returning is about social cohesion. Exactly. I don't want social cohesion. I want the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. I want the disintegration of our social fabric. Have I made myself clear enough?
You need to get people together to make them believe in your movement of discohesion.
You know a lot about that.
You're really coming apart with this.
Discohesion would be a great band name.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Wow, that is
Blue
great.
Heart said, have a good weekend, all.
Thank you, Blue Heart.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You too. Lane said, Ian is truly in his element as PCC guest. Please come back regularly, Ian.
Yes.
He does. He does.
Let's do it.
We love, like we were talking earlier. So Ian is our Friday guest because Ian brings in good vibes for the weekend.
Yeah, get easy.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is
good
fun.
Time.
It's great.
Dude,
I'm learning.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh,
today,
man. Thanks a lot for all the knowledge and information. I love it.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
Well, you follow me at iancrossland.net. Get through my social medias all that way. And you can always follow me. We'll be tonight, Timcast IRL on YouTube. That's 8 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday on YouTube, Timcast IRL. And I'll see you there.
Perfect, man.
Oh, and I also want to shout out the vlog, The Cast Castle, timcast.com if you haven't seen it yet. This week's episode, every week on Tuesday at 7 p.m. it drops Eastern. Go to timcast.com. You sign up. It's on the left side of the page. You find Cast Castle. That's where it's at.
All right. Dane, let everyone know where they can find you.
I'm going to say slow today just for you.
Perfect.
You can find me at Dane Font on Twitter.
That was beautiful. Beautiful. And you are always a main guest, by the way.
The best font.
And
Thank
in
you.
our hearts.
I was gonna say when the AI conversation came, the problem with my name is that I got font in it. So every time I put myself in any AI, it's just a bunch of letters.
Is there a font called Dane?
There should be.
Yeah, we should make one.
Oh wow.
Or someone should.
Let's do it.
You let me know.
All right, Mary. There's a couple more there.
Okay. Tino Villegas said, F yeah, I've been trying to get Tim to say my name for like 2 years now. Now try say Fortino Villegas the third.
Fortino Villegas the third.
I'd have to see it.
You have to see it.
Johnny Derp said, Mary, I want the disintegration of society. Also, Mary, I'm Catholic. Way to represent.
What a beautiful way to end this show today. What a fantastic. Why do we have to? Have you ever heard that? There's a really funny Dane Cook bit where he talks about how he like a guy tries to heckle him in a crowd, and then he like yells at the dude, and everybody gets really quiet. He goes, great, it's a great vibe in here. It's like daddy just hit mommy at the dinner table, and now everyone's trying to eat still. This is what this feels like now. Like everyone's arguing about social cohesion and the meaning of carts and religion.
I think it's clearly more serious to them than it is to me.
Mary,
I don't know. I don't know. You're pretty upset about it. Gotta tell you.
That another
what a way to
crisis
set
party.
it off.
Mary, other than not putting a cart back, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram or WeChat at CloserKitty, and whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there.
I want to go back and check with the board first. 26 crisis parties, guys.
Wow.
Thank you so
Really
much,
epic.
everyone, for joining us, for being on this journey over 200 episodes with us. It has been an unbelievable experience as I try to have this extremely serious conversation while like money is shooting everywhere. It has been an unbelievable thing to kind of grow with you guys and do this show. It is not where I expected to be a year ago, but I am having an amazing time growing with you guys, having you guys watch the show, knowing that you come and check out every day. It means the world to me. It means the world to all of us here.
We're also like constantly thinking of ways to make this show worth your while.
Absolutely.
So get excited.
There's one more super chat there if you want to read that one.
Yes. Darth Doza said, last shout out, great show. Brett, Mary, congratulations on 200. Dane, Ian, great to see you on the show.
Thank
Darth
you.
Doza.
Thank you.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. For the show, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would rather listen rather than watch, it wouldn't be half as fun to listen to this and rather than watch, but you can do that. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are sold. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisispod. We will be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.